Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. What up? What up? It's the AGM podcast, and I'm back at you once again. Here with my wonderful co-host, who's back with us. I think he's been out for a little long. Dorian, aka Huso.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, my brother.
Welcome back.
And our wonderful, lovely queen, Yana Captivates.
Still here.
Thank you for being here as always. And got my little cousin right behind the camera lens. And we on episode 12, man. We still rocking and rolling through all the turmoil and everything we've been dealing with. You know what I'm saying? We still rocking, we still going. And I know we gonna put a zero behind that 12. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. So let's keep it going. And thank you to everybody who's been supporting and commenting and sharing in any type of way. Our special guests we've had thus far and the ones that we gonna have in the future. Just thank you to all of y'all for, helping the dream, go to another level and just continue to give y'all great content, man. Y'all can find us at the AGM podcast or hit us up and email us anything y'all want us to talk about or any of y'all thoughts at allgrindmedia21@gmail.com. And without further ado, man, we gonna get into it. A lot of music stuff today. We just Meek just announced his new album, Expensive Pain. I didn't see a date, but I'm assuming it'll be fairly soon. It looks like Kendrick is having a rollout coming. Finally, I don't know what what that nigga been having going. But yeah, I guess he used a rollout on the back of his cousin Baby King, who just dropped a new album. Then we got Lil Nas X, who just dropped a new album. So, we've been I don't know, I can't say we. I know I've been kind of trying to avoid this man for so many different reasons, especially the time we living in, the way I feel about so much stuff, and a lot of stuff that I'm still learning and coming into my own or whatever. But what I will say about Lil Nas X is that I feel like he is a textbook definition industry plant. Like I can start there. So it's a million things we can get into with old boy, but D, like I don't know, like what's your thoughts on him?
It's so much I don't even know like where to.
Question: do you feel
start.
like he's an industry plant as well, though?
I can't say for sure, because I do remember how he got on, so I guess we could start there with how he came to be like Lil Nas X.
With a Billy Ray Cyrus feature.
Yeah, like kind of through the TikTok era. He did that Old Town Road song.
That wasn't for kids, by the way. Might I mention? Because people love to say that was, but it wasn't.
we could debate.
But I mean, actual lyrics. It was not.
I didn't know a single peer that liked that song.
But it
was kids.
But check it out.
It was all true.
But check it out. The melody, the tune of it all, sure. However, lyrics. But people don't listen to lyrics.
This is what I feel. I feel like he started life in the music industry as a troll.
Sure.
Because Old Town Road isn't a country song. People. Yeah, it's not a country song at all. But once like the country music genre was like, we're gonna take this off the country music charts,
which I felt was some hater shit. I defended him on that.
I didn't feel like it was hater shit because it's like when you listen to it. And mind you, I love like calling a racist, but I just didn't feel like it was like an actual country song. It's not like we have black country singers who make actual country music, but that's not like a country song. It's more like a parody of a country song. And then he like connected it to Red Dead Redemption.
One of the biggest country singers ever on the song.
It's the politics of it. I feel like he the narrative that he gave, or the narrative that was placed on him, I don't know, I won't say that he placed a narrative, or whatever the narrative is, was that this young black boy is being, treated unfairly because he's black, and, country music is like a redneck type thing, so it's like they're an easy target to be called racist.
That's what it is now, but that's not what it derived from. Nigga.
But all I'm saying, yeah, no, I get that, yeah, for factual. All I'm saying is, we probably started most musical genres, but all I'm saying is, he started off as a troll, and then after he gained success through, matter of fact, I don't even think he really gay. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't even think he really gay.
Wow.
I don't even think he's really gay.
Really?
After he dropped Old Town Road, then he came out as gay. And like, you know, because I'm like a skeptic. I'm like,
in that case, that means you probably do think he's an industry plant.
I think something is afoot, because it's like, what? Like, okay, look at it like this.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
Look at it like this.
Something is afoot, like, cause okay.
What's your favorite Lil Nas X song, or what's his most popular song?
His most popular, I still would say Old Town Road.
Exactly. What's his most popular like hook or something like that?
Most popular hook?
Yeah, like his most catchy melody or hook or something like that.
His like first like 2, 3 was probably like.
But like, what is it though? Like, if you have like a big artist, we can like easily say, this is
the name of the song.
This is their biggest song. It's their most popular song.
I know the one with the baby because you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I would follow the baby.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, my point I'm driving at is that he's more popular for like the shit outside of the music than the actual music. So like, even with Old Town Road,
I just think he makes music for a different crowd.
Nah, it's for. I'm talking about on some mainstream shit. He's not like. I'm quite sure he has his core fan base who could probably like quote his shit bar for bar. But what I'm saying is like, just your average person walking up the street who enjoys music. It's not like, I'll use Doja Cat as an example. I love Doja Cat. You feel me? And I could like quote her shit all day. Like, give me something. Like I could start doing that shit. But with Lil Nas X, I really like, as popular as he is, and as much as I hear his name, I don't know any of his music outside of Old Town Road, and then slightly the song where he was like, in that video twerking on the devil.
Oh, Montero.
Yeah, and so, but my point is, and this is why I feel like he might be an industry plant. Like, I lean towards that, is because it's like, nigga, I'm not saying your music's not good, but it's like you're known for shit outside of your music, and it's like every time you were in the news or in like the public consciousness, it's about something other than
say
music.
Because when he came out as gay in Gay Pride Month.
And have you seen him with a man?
No, but I ain't even gonna go into it. No,
I've never seen him with a man. I haven't seen him connected to any man.
A man. But with that being said, once he announced that he was gay, he did have a little run after that where he was like performing this at the VMAs, performing this at the Grammys. He brought out Nas, like, but all of these is the reasons why I would like consider him as a textbook definition plant. It's like you check every box, my nigga. You check every single solitary box. And then you got the trolling on top of that, which people fiend for. Like, whether people hate you or love you, this like
at this point, it's not about music. It's not about music. So we can even go further into like the whole narrative of like, is this part of a overarching plan to emasculate young black boys and shit like that?
And to your point of have you seen him with a man, he did kiss a man on stage at the BET Awards. So.
I'm talking about like an actual, like, this my boo, like, type shit.
Nigga, you kiss somebody in the another nigga in the effing mouth, bro.
I mean, no, I get. I know
if you're willing to go that far, if you're not gay, like,
for you and me, yeah. But like, let's say like you're more driven by like success and money and shit like that. Like, you'll probably go way out to do it. You'll probably even like, all right, let me say this properly before I continue. Mm-hmm. He's not my homie, but it's a dude that I know who and we might have the debate after this, but he does gay porn, right?
Okay. In what capacity?
All right, no, this is
wait, hush up.
Oh my god.
You shut the fuck up.
Oh
me and you don't. In what capacity? Because there's
he gets fucked in the ass.
Oh, okay.
Well, please don't say it.
Please
don't say it.
There's a little wiggle room with that.
But when we talk to him, if you talk to him, he's like, I'm not gay.
And that.
He's like, I'm just doing it for the money.
Huh. And that ties into what we talked about last time, where it's a little hard.
So
like,
look. Okay. No.
Talk to me. Come on.
I get it. No, I know exactly how you feel. Cause like in my mind, I'm like, nigga, that's gay. Like there's no debate about it. But in his mind,
I'm gonna get myself canceled.
In
right
his
now.
mind,
That's
he's
why
like, I'm not gay,
up.
and I'm not gonna sit here and debate with you. Like it doesn't mean that much to me to like call you if you feel like you're not gay. That's for you and whatever woman you're dealing with to like.
It ain't what he felt like. Tell him he's a homosexual.
I mean, I feel like
it's his business.
I feel like you.
No, it is his business, but you're not gay. Like,
but
are you kidding me?
If it's not your business, then what?
Look. All I'm saying is like that's an extreme example. But I don't think Lil Nas. I mean, I don't know what he does in his private time, but I feel like he's not gay. So I don't think he's getting fucked in the ass. I think like.
You're saying if somebody can go as far as having sex with men and saying he's not gay, a kiss is
in the grand scheme of things.
No,
especially in the industry where niggas is actually doing that shit.
He said that to you?
Well,
the dude told you that?
Yeah.
No, but check it.
Yeah, no, we had a whole conversation about it because I was like, nigga, how? Like what? Like going on? Come on, man. Like what, man? But you know, at the end of the day, I feel how I feel about it.
I mean, but listen,
and niggas in porn don't even make bread like that for. You would even say, "Oh, it's for the money." Like,
look. You wouldn't know. First of all, second of all,
what you mean I wouldn't know?
But he was like, he also said you get more money for doing gay porn. Like you get more.
Whether you've known people who have lived that life, if you have not lived that life firsthand, you don't know all the opportunities and routes and canals that could come with.
You can't know the business or something because you're not in it.
You can know
I'll collect
an extent of it.
cans.
However, you don't. Don't forget that people are people, which are individuals, which some people bring more to the table than others, which means some are more of a commodity than others, which means some may have different experiences than others, right?
Right. So what if you see a line of people with different experiences who are in that field, men and women, gay and straight, whatever it is, that all share a same sentiment?
And that's it.
Most of them have said that, like, I'm not saying like you in poverty if you are a man in porn, but compared to what women make in the grand scheme, you have to do a lot more work to get a portion of what the women get because men, for one, last a lot longer than women, so women can charge tax more because of that, and they get quote unquote what they would say worn out. The more dicks you get or whatever, and dicks is supposed to be like, oh well,
we talking about
that
porn?
don't get worn. Yeah, this is porn. Nigga, what else would we be talking? What is this nigga talking about anyway? What is you? I don't know what you dazed off into. So a pussy is we can agree that that's more attractive and valuable in the porn world than dick is. So they get far more than what men get in the porn industry. And this isn't just some stuff that I've read online, which I have, but I've personally known porn stars that didn't try to holler at people around me or mess with people around me. All that stuff.
Still the sense of, let's just call it what it is. The porn industry isn't paying as much as people think they pay. That's
in general first,
art.
Yeah, for sure.
First and foremost, it's not.
So imagine how much worse it is for niggas.
However, but niggas, there's different avenues from different niggas. If niggas are built a certain type of way genetically or whatever, mandigo or whatever you want to call it, there's certain categories for certain niggas. Some niggas get paid. I've known a nigga who has specifically been paid for how he's genetically built, and that's just that comes from the territory, right? He can be in that black category.
Well, most people in that field have to have one to even
but
get hired.
But I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Dorian, but I think it's just a matter of there are still those outliers that still make a difference. Like, as far as they don't have to, it's not them demeaning themselves for fucking for what they're fucking for. Well, and they may get paid more than expected.
I was just, I know that like we went off on a tangent, but I was just using that to like.
Nah, your boy wild, bro.
I wasn't trying to talk about it at all.
Talking about?
I mean,
I just use that to kind of create like a spectrum of like what people will do for money, what men will do for money, and like can be like, I'm not gay.
I want him to come here.
Like,
I need to hear like.
He be like, I'm not gay. Like,
I need to hear like
this is all of the assumption that he might not be gay.
You're still the same person who from the last episode would think a nigga gay for even trying a butt plug. So it's like you're different in that sense.
How am I different? That is very homosexual like.
Okay,
of sticking anything in your butt as a man.
Biology wise, understanding that a male's G spot is in their ass and considering that sex, one of the outside of reproduction, one of the primary goals is pleasure at the ultimate extent, which is G-spots and things of that nature. I think that there's a little bit of wiggle room.
I just feel like there's certain levels of pleasure
Just a little bit.
that
It's
based
less
off
than
of
that.
that fact, there's certain levels of pleasure that a man should not obtain in life.
And that's, I mean, to each his own. But I feel like as a human, fuck man, women, whatever the fuck you want to consider yourself, dog. I don't give a fuck what you want to consider yourself for. As a human, you be wrong for cheating yourself out of pure pleasure at one point in your life, even if it's not a regular thing. To be so close-minded to think, oh, if this part isn't touched, which is proven to be the center of male pleasure. To each his own. I'm not saying the way in which that point has to be touched. I'm just saying that to be so closed off that it even is acknowledged as a point is kind of fucked up for the human experience. That's me understanding that as a human and one life not being into reincarnation.
But to be fair, I didn't say that. I didn't say specifically that nigga is gay.
No, but
that nigga has very much so homosexual tendencies. If you want anything in that area to go inside at any point in time, there is a homosexual tendency behind that.
And I still feel this.
So I don't feel like that's a correlation with me saying a nigga having full blown sex. If having full blown sex with men don't make you gay, what does?
Okay, that's for you to understand. However, moving forward,
I mean, that's real as fuck.
And that's fair. And I'm not knocking what he's saying, but ultimately it's
because
like,
it's like shit.
I hear you.
Like what else? Like
okay,
I guess, huh?
I guess I'm just a lot more open-minded than most people are open to be. And not even open to be, but society has allowed them to be. And it sucks because it's like I'm very much into we are humans. Fuck woman, fuck male.
Well, see, that's why we disagree.
I am into a human experience. I am
we
one
are
human ever.
But I'm still a man.
And I hear you, but I'm only
First.
ever one human.
First and foremost.
I'm ever only one human.
And it's like for like this is where I draw it, because like I think women are weird because they like to get fucked. Like that's just weird to me.
And that's
like
already
the idea of
a
somebody
bad
like
jumping
grabbing
point.
you and like be like busting your shit down and you like enjoying it. Like
you think that's weird because you're not a woman though.
Yeah, that's
they
what I'm
have
saying.
a different.
That's what I'm saying.
Way they dissect
I couldn't
that.
imagine wanting somebody to grab me and like put me in like really like just drill my shit. Is what I'm trying to say. But
that's the difference between you and gay men.
I digress.
But that's also the
Lil Nas X. Based off this conversation, I feel like he could be a plant, but outside of that, he is definitely a troll. He's for sure a troll.
Do you think he's a plant?
It doesn't matter what I think. He a troll for sure. He good at that. So it don't matter what I think.
I mean, y'all double teamed me last week with this, but don't do that. Come on, man.
Cool.
Like,
it don't matter.
Y'all F
when
me
it
up
comes down to it,
when we filmed last time
but
with this spit.
But in
So
this situation, y'all would double team me, and I'm not gonna have it. So it doesn't matter what I think.
But that wasn't even that. We wasn't even on the same spit that whole time. But I'm saying y'all technically
y'all will
did
never be anywhere
textbook.
open to where I am as far as like I give a lot of wiggle room, and I get it. Y'all niggas with penises, sure, cool. Y'all have different standards on that. Mm-hmm. Me not having a penis. Me having a vagina, have different rules on my vagina and how vaginas work.
And y'all are
even
allowed
with
to
explore
you also have to understand that.
So outside of that,
you also
like,
have to understand that you have
differences.
the same way I have no idea what it's like to be you or what it's like to be a woman. You have no idea what it's like
absolutely.
to be me
Am
or
I not
a man.
saying that?
But I'm saying it's
I think
like
I'm saying that right now.
in a sense, but the fact that you're kind of like feeling a type of way about it is showing that your perspective is still kind of like halted, because I can understand. I'm not offended by you feeling like a nigga's not gay if he gets fucked in the ass. I'm like, well, if that's how it is, that's how it is. But I feel like you're offended if I feel like a nigga's gay if he gets fucked in the ass.
But I'm not. I feel like it's...
Yeah, because we're not open-minded.
No, but listen, I feel like there's a disconnect because, yeah, there's that. I feel like I'm looked at as off as fuck for not feeling it. That's wrong, or experiencing that is wrong. Because I'm not saying that if it's consistent, it's consistent. To each his own, call spade a spade. However, if you try some shit and you experiment, like we talked about last episode, then I don't feel like that you should be automatically written off as gay for the rest of your life. However, that's how a lot of people think.
And that's what I explained to
you
last episode. I said it's easy for you to say that because you feel like you'll defend that. You're open minded. You'll stand behind that dude who does feel like, oh yeah, I can have this plug in my butt or whatever and still not be gay. But the rest of society is still going to consider that man as being gay, and he has to live with the repercussions. The
same way, if I want to have sex with multiple men, I'm gonna be looked at as a slut and ran through.
Right.
So it's like it's different.
It depends.
When in reality, a threesome is a threesome, right? Mm-hmm. But no, not to you guys, because you guys are so warped in that sense. That's cool, to each his own. However, realistically speaking, 3 people is 3 people. What y'all don't understand and can't fathom is the idea of 2 niggas remotely interacting with each other. So y'all just expecting, I'm assuming, a nigga utilizing different holes at different times separately, which is not always the case, sweetie. I mean, granted, I've looked at a lot of wild ass porn. I'm into a lot of wild ass shit. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's not just vanilla as y'all think it is. Okay. It's not just that.
We can have this conversation. I feel like the threesome with 2 women and a man, because I've had a threesome with 2 women. It's a threesome if everybody's interacting.
I did a quick flex on this.
We can ramp up. But if I'm with 2 girls and I'll even meet you halfway and see if that's good enough. If I'm with 2 girls, right, and we're engaging sexually, if we're all doing like they kissing on each other, eating each other out, sucking on each other's titties, and sharing my dick, and I'm going inside each one of them, and we're all like in this whole like sex ball, that's a threesome. If you're with 2 men and the same thing is happening, and mind you, I've seen all type of porn, so I've seen some porn where I was like, yo, that's a threesome with 2 niggas and a girl, cause the niggas is sucking each other dick and they kissing and. Don't judge me.
Kind of
don't judge me. I'm just saying I've seen it. And I'm like, that's a threesome, because it's like this woman is here and these 2 guys are together. They kissing and touching and sucking and they going back and forth with each other. That's a threesome. Those 2 things are a threesome. Feel me? Now, what the disconnect is, what I feel like in our culture is most black dudes, we call it running trains. I'm not touching another nigga. I'm not interacting with another nigga. He doesn't have to be there. It's just the girl is here. I'm having this experience with this girl, and then once I'm done, the homie come through, and that's that. That's not a threesome. That's a train. You feel me? Same way if I'm like in a room and a girl come through and she fuck me, get up and leave, then another girl come in and fuck me and leave. Or she just like sits in the corner and just looks.
But it wasn't a train that she ran.
And there is a term for that.
Yeah,
I forgot the name of it. But there is a term
for that. We call it a reverse train, a female train, or whatever. Then they just ran a train.
I would like to know the actual term for it.
And I'm okay with that.
I don't know it. Like,
they have a thing where like, and again I forgot what the word is, but where like there's some girls who, they get off on watching their nigga have sex with another woman, and like they sitting there. Watching the spit and playing with themselves or something like that.
If I'm having sex with a girl and the other girl's just like sitting there just watching, and then she, other girl get up and the other girl come through, and the other girl switch and she's just watching now, they're technically that I guess that's the male version of having a train ran on me. You feel me? If you want to call it that.
But niggas don't even.
But even if it was called a train, there's no
it.
shame on you.
It's never called that for a male.
It's
never
different.
called that for a male.
Even if it was, there would be no shame in that for a nigga as there is for a woman to
Obviously, but still, regardless, it's still y'all would never put a stain on what y'all do sexually. That's what it is.
It ain't
not
just us.
Not just you.
It's women,
I'm just saying in general when it comes to like. But think about it. Let's not act like men don't run shit when it comes to a lot of different societal stigmas.
I'm talking about the opinions though. If you go on like a post or something right now, you'll see mixed opinions from men and women on that.
In this day and age, absolutely. However, what the single was based on was it didn't get localized for no reason, right?
Right.
So when it comes down to it, I feel like men. How many men have you guys have said that y'all know in y'all lifetime that have said that, females have ran a train on me? That's not in a man's dialect. That's not in a language. A train is only used if they are putting it on somebody else or
I'll say
giving it to somebody else. In my experience, right?
Yeah, because
I have heard that. But it wasn't said in like a shameful way.
Yeah, it was kind of like in a joking way.
Yeah, it's like a.
But y'all funny because whether or not y'all joke about it, females are stigmatized by it.
But it's because of the nature of sex, like just the physical act.
Like
when
we can be keys and we can be locks and all that, but have one too many keys and we defective as a lock, right? Right. I mean, maybe not for y'all particularly, but in general, let's not talk about it.
Well,
body counts and shit like that matter. Where it's like, oh well, you've touched one too many locks. You've dealt with one too many niggas. You've dealt with one too many situations, and you're deemed defective.
Okay, well look, check this out. So look, that double standard that you feel so emotional about right now.
And I do.
You don't think that there's niggas that will feel that emotional because they get labeled as gay for one little thing or just the thought of something or something like that?
Last episode, absolutely. I know that, which is why I don't feel like it's right. And I made it clear that wasn't right last time. Did I not?
No, you did. But I also told you that you're disregarding the fact that some niggas don't even want to. They don't want to take that sacrifice of themselves. Some do, but some don't want to take the sacrifice of themselves and whatever it is, whatever reputation they have. They don't want to sacrifice that just so they could say like, oh, I was just being open minded, and then just have to die on that hill the rest of their life.
That's where you are completely mistaken, because that's not the case. I'm realistic enough to know that not everybody can die on that hill. So I give wiggle room to people who can't die on it. Not if you say, oh, y'all being closed-minded. No, but I'm saying in general, I'm saying in general, obviously, I guess since we on camera, you wouldn't have the space to say, oh, there's a lot of wiggle room here and there. But you're going to say what you have to say in negative against it, correct?
I don't understand what you just said.
I'm saying that you're not going to be so upfront about, if you were to feel like you were open-minded about one-time experience, you made it very clear that you're not going to make it clear on camera. Right. When would I have the time outside of camera to be like, so is that your real stance? Like, why would I do that if I'm taking you for face value? So you are a bad example in that sense, because I feel like you are very steadfast and you don't have that wiggle room in you might be gay for experimenting. I feel like you're very strong and have made it clear from your own words that whether or not you try or not, you're gay. And you have those tendencies, whether you're gay. So you don't fall into that category. So I have not shamed you or thought differently in that sense, nor do I think differently for other people in that sense. Like, to each his own. If you're in a situation to where you can't express that part of yourself, to each his own. I can't knock that. Nor do I feel like you're just closed-minded. But if you're somebody who isn't even in that world, to think, oh, I got a little wiggle room. Because you're not one of those people. You're not. That you're mentioning. You're not one of those people that's like, oh, you know.
No, I was speaking on behalf of those people.
I get that. But you're not one of those people. So I'm saying that I'm not being just so in one box about it. I'm saying that people like yourself, outside of the people you were talking about, can be, not saying you are, but can be closed-minded in the sense of any little mere experience can be looked at as gay. I understand you're advocating for a group that you do not belong to. Right. However, I'm still speaking on the group that you do belong to, which is people who would never, and that's cool. But I'm just saying, like.
Well, no, I really stand on that though. That's not cool. Like something that is I'm like I'm scared of, and that's what anything in my life. If I have a conviction of something, I have a conviction of it, and I stand on that. And I live and die on it, no matter what it is, even if it does cost me.
People who do die on that hill, and that's what I was saying. You're not one of those people. I'm speaking to the people who are you, not the people you're referring to, who will die on that hill, secretly or otherwise. I'm talking about you and people like you, which are like, yeah, it's a touch closed-minded, but for a good reason. I'm not saying you're wrong for that. I'm saying that you have different upbringings, you have different points of view that have led you to that, and I don't knock you for that. Right. If you feel like if you kiss a nigga you gay, that's for you. That's for you to think. That's your perception of the world, and that's to each his own. I don't knock you. I'm not trying to change that. I'm just saying that there's other outliers in different groups for different things, and there's a lot of different nuances with groups and variables when it comes to situations. And unfortunately, I like to talk about the outliers and the variables a lot, as opposed to the normal status quo for people. I do. So I can see how there could be kind of a confusion, but I'm not knocking you, how you run things. I was just speaking on the people you reference. So Hope we got that cleared up.
No,
and I'm an
I
over
got
explainer, so
Yeah,
hopefully I
feel
explained that well. But
he's not saying the perspective is right. He's just saying that's going to be the perception just at the end of the day.
was what I responded with wrong though? Because I wasn't saying that I felt that what he was saying was wrong.
You feel like it's wrong. What you're saying is it's wrong for people to feel this way.
No, it's not. I feel like it's human.
What I'm saying is, like, let's say hypothetically, let's say if I say like a dude is gay, if he allows his girl to put a strap on and fuck him in the ass.
And that's what you choose to think. However,
right.
there are more open-minded options.
And what I'm saying is, I feel like your perspective is more like there's more to life, so that's wrong to have that viewpoint. Because there are more options, which is true. But what I'm saying is the perception of that man within the context of our society is going to be that he's gay or he's suspect. And that's unavoidable because it just is what it is, because there's so many different type of cultures and so many different type of people. It just is what it is. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that he's gay or not gay. Right. I'm just saying that that's going to be the perception of him.
And I understand that, and I made that very clear that I understand that. However, I feel like, no, you are not wrong. Having a certain aspect and being quote unquote, because I feel like, maybe it's how I say it, being closed-minded. That's not to put you down and saying that you only want to think in this way. In some cases, that is the context. However, not in all cases. That is just how you think. That's not how the broad, objective way of thinking is. That's not all the variables and all the circumstances that could happen in this situation. I'm somebody who's realistic enough to view the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, to where it's like, damn, I don't, there's always another alternative to how a situation can play out. Right. When I say closed-mindedness, I mean in the sense of Black society not being open. Like I mentioned in the last episode, not being open to anything related to same sex outside of girls and music videos. Realistically, let's talk about it. To be addressed and accepted, whether it's trans, whether it's gay, whether it's a stud, regardless. It's like in our community as Black people, it's not the most accepted. So in that regard, there can be some closed-mindedness. I'm not saying y'all wrong for being closed-minded. I understand where y'all coming from for having y'all preconceived way of thinking, and y'all not wrong for it. However, there are other ways, and I feel like it's closed in the sense of our society and what we were bred to understand. Not closed in the sense of you trying to be ignorant personally. You, JC, you, Dorian, are trying to be ignorant and not learn nothing new. I would never say that about y'all. But I'm saying in the sense of as what we've been conditioned to believe in our society as Black people is a certain amount of closed-mindedness to where we can't express nothing. Like I said last episode, we can't express nothing without it being deemed as white people shit, whether it's sex acts or otherwise, fetishes, regardless. It's like, without it being deemed as white people shit, we don't get that type of luxury. But that's not just us going through our own trauma, that's being inflicted trauma upon us, where we were being stifled for anything related to us in our skin color, whether it's our strength, whether it's our masculinity, whether it's sexuality, regardless, we're being stripped of everything. So I feel like regardless of what we want to think as Black people independent in 2021, we still have the unfortunate side effects of our ancestors who were enslaved years ago. And we have been stripped from certain ideologies that are okay as humans as opposed to okay by culture. And it sucks. That's it. You feel me?
I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
How do you like, where's the line then? If like he said earlier, if a man having sex with another man isn't gay, then what is? Like, where can we? Is it just simply the individual has to say I'm gay, and then we just have to accept it as that?
I mean, that's what most everything else.
Like, say if he has, let's say I'm a man and I exclusively or just regularly have sex with other men, and I'm like, I'm not gay. Like, I'm not gay.
You'd be surprised how many niggas do that.
I'm saying.
And you know that. You should know. You should, as a grown ass man, you should know how many niggas do that.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, they love to do that. Like, I fuck with niggas, but I'm not gay.
So what I'm saying is that, like, do we have to accept his definition of what his actions are, or can we just be like, no, nigga, you're gay. Objectively. And you just won't, objectively, you're gay. Like, objectively. It's not it's like, no, that's gay, bro.
Because a nigga could just be saying, I'm not gay, but booty busting behind closed doors. You know how many hood niggas we done seen
Yeah,
get
we
exposed
can
to spit like that.
catch him.
Anybody can do that. Even think of the simplest form. I don't fuck with this nigga no more. I broke up with him. Whatever. We done, and we still fucking on the low. That happens as humans. I feel like that's part of the human experience. Not keeping your word when it comes to fucking with people you want to fuck with. It seems like, right? Because it spans across the cultures. It spans across ethnicities. It spans across people. Humans have a hard tendency to continue to fuck with toxic people or otherwise when they care about them. People they care about, period. Good or bad for them, they're going to stick around. And that's a whole different example. As far as what you're asking, when it comes to having full-blown sex with males, I feel like, or same-sex sex, I guess, I feel like there's so many different variables with certain things. Like, I feel like if you prefer to have sex with males, you only want to have sex with males, you only get off with sex with males, and that's what you go for, I feel like objectively, sure. Okay. I think you would be homosexual. I would like to think.
But let's just say that in their mind they're like, no, I'm not gay.
And for me, being into mental health and psychology, it's like,
damn,
one thing.
Because this kind of goes because this goes into the transitions. This goes into the transitions.
The brain is not. Is it or is it not the powerhouse of your entire being? Right.
No, but
your brain is where it all comes from. And people don't like to talk about it, but I hate to try to remind you guys. But yeah, the brain is where all the decisions come from.
Not to put you in that box, but once upon a time, gays were considered.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm a gay, so I know that I would have been in conversion therapy and all that. I understand as a gay, as a bisexual woman, yes, I get that.
And like, my perspective, I don't think there's like an easy answer to it because, there's one extreme on the conservative end where it's like, extremely black and white, and there's no gray gradient in between.
Right.
And
but
then,
not with that type.
Yeah, but then there's like another opposite end of the spectrum where it's like totally, and it's all in my mind, and whatever I want it to be, whenever I want it to be, it is whatever it is when I want it to be it. And I feel like that's incredibly unrealistic and creates like a lot of potential for just crazy shit to happen in the name of just accepting different lifestyles because like you said, the human mind it's its own universe. It can be divided infinitely and come up with infinite scenarios and infinite narratives inside the mind, but we still have like a physical reality that we have to contend with. So there has to be some type of like reconciliation of these two things. So you have the truth inside your mind, but then you have the truth that we all have to share and deal with each other.
That's the thing, as far as like even with people who, like I was trying to get to, but when I mentioned the mental health thing, it's like no, people still go through denial. Let's not knock out that demographic of people who are what they are, which is attracted to same sex or otherwise. Are still in denial about it.
I've been in denial before, not about sex or anything, not about that.
And even if you were, but check it out. But did you see the different response? I want to see. Did you see the different responses?
I to cover that quick.
Okay. Did you see the different reactions though? Because he freaked out. I chilled. Yeah, if you did question your sexuality, I don't care.
But it's like, because check, because you guys are two different people with two completely different perspectives.
But still, it's just
and so it's like I have
if
to.
I'm not who you fucking. If you're not who he
them.
fucking, what difference does it make who he choose to fuck or want to fuck on?
But what I'm saying is like.
That's what bothers me.
The way that we interface with life, I could interface with people based off of like this is how I feel, and I don't give a fuck how you feel. You feel me? And that's just how it is. And how I feel is how I feel, and that's what I'm going to be, and that's what I'm going to stand on. Or I can interface with life about like, okay, how do you feel about it? And, let me listen to your perspective and let me try to like kind of, flow with what you think is the right thing. And we have to kind of marry the two, I feel like, in order to be like a healthy individual. I can't just all be about my perspective, but then I can't also be like your perspective. I have to kind of flow. So with y'all two, when I said what I said, I knew you were gonna get it. I knew you were gonna understand it. But I knew, like, just for JC, and then like for everybody else, like looking, I have to say it because there's so many different audiences that I have to like kind of communicate to. Right. And so, like I said, I've been in denial before, not about my sexuality or anything, like, but just like with the girl I've been dealing with. I'm like, no, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. I know she's a good girl. Like, she's a good girl. And I'm like, nigga, no, she's not. She's not a good girl.
Are you
like,
lying?
Yeah, she is. She is a good girl. I'm like, nigga, like, you don't see what you do. Why don't you see it? And I'm like, no, she's a good girl. Then eventually I come to find like, shit, I was in denial. And even though what they saw was the truth of the matter, like, there was nothing that could be said to me to change my mind. So, like, on the subject of a guy that has sex with exclusively men, and he's like, but I'm straight. Like, I'm straight. I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm straight. We can say he's in denial. But it's like, you know, based off of, like, I feel like where society is moving, how can we then... It's almost like we're moving into a definition-less society. Like, with, like, the whole trans things where it's like, everything is everything. It just is what it is. We're all humans. We're all doing this.
We're being forced to give a break for every opportunity and every available option for humanity.
Right.
To me personally, I feel like we are.
And I'm not sure if I'm not convinced that that's like actually a good thing. I feel like there's a point. Like I said, there's a point within the spectrum where this is the sweet zone where we can like define certain things without, you know, ostracizing other groups or not giving other groups space to be what they are. But then once it goes past a certain point of like no definitions, and it's like anything is happening, and then it's like, what about the babies? Because I always feel like, you know, this is probably a conversation for another time, but I feel like the trans shit is gonna like lead to like pedophilia, but I don't want to get into that conversation right now.
I'm not trying
Please.
I don't want to get into that conversation right now. We can do that for another day. So, yeah, Lil Nas X though.
But what I don't have a problem with him. As far as that, what makes you think he's not gay?
Cause I feel like it was just more advantageous for his career. Like when he mentioned it, like if you're like, I get because of the stigma of being a black man and gay, like how you might not want to come out and be like, I'm a gay artist. But I feel like even at the time that he came out, it was still more acceptable to be gay.
Right, and it ain't like he broke no damn barrier.
And
Frank Ocean did that shit in 2012, and everybody loves him. I think people forget he's gay. So his career is on the back of being gay.
This is just me being cynical. I feel like he knew that if he said, yo, I'm gay, it would bring a whole nother audience to him. Right. And propel him, just because that's how like society is like, you know, doing it right now.
Well, see, originally I didn't think he was gonna go that far. I remember when he made the tweet, but I thought he was just like, I'm throwing it out there that I'm gay, and
because then also if you're gay,
I thought he was gonna do like with Frank Ocean or with like McConan.
And that's
I thought he was gonna do like what they did.
It was like an announcement. It's like, if you're gay, just be gay. You don't have to like say it to nobody. Like, right. we'll figure it out on your own.
He didn't have to get as much backlash as he did either, and I feel like that's what made him feed into it. Why wouldn't you? I mean, to me, being into social experiments and shit, I feel his troll side, because it's like, you got all these people up, they panties in a bunch for nothing.
I respect his troll
side. To be
real
though, a lot of that backlash came when his antics came. It wasn't not around
Old Town Road. No, you're right. Yeah. However, it's like, once he became an artist for real, not just a one-time hit, and somebody who just made one single with Billy Ray Cyrus.
So you thought like people thought he was a one-hit wonder anyway, he'd go away.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? When he was a viral TikTok star, and that's kind of how certain things work out. I view him as a one-hit wonder, so I can see that. It's like, ultimately, he became an artist in his own person, and he showed he was sticking around, and he showed how much disdain he got for just being himself, if that is himself. I can't say neither one. I'm not here to say that I discredit what he is to put at face value to an extent outside of the trolling, because it's like, who am I to say? I don't know you, and that's none of my business. However, if that's how you want to troll, if that's how you want to do your social experiments, if that's how you want to make a point at how people are such bigots and so hypocritical or so blinded by the wrong things, then go, by all means. You're doing it in a very smart way.
I'm not mad at his trolling.
And I feel like ultimately, being an artist, he's into performance art. That's how I see it. He's into performance art. by a long
but
shot.
do you really think people pick on him because he's gay?
Some
or
do.
give him
Not
backlash
only-
because he's gay?
Some do.
Some do. Some demographics only do. When Montero came out in the little drop of Satan blood, yet Tony Hawk came out and he had a lot more blood or a lot more satanic related shit, and nobody talked about that. That didn't go viral. That didn't trend. That didn't have a lot of backlash. But it's like, oh, because it's a white old skateboarder as opposed to a young black male. Oh. Shit like that, where it's like, it could have been way worse. Back in the day, they was saying 3 6 Mafia songs was praising the devil, saying backwards. You know, so it's like, I don't really care too much on the hype regarding to. I understand what y'all saying as far as industry playing. I could see that side of it, as well as him just also utilizing the platform that he has in 2021 to be himself and be funny with it and troll with it, because people don't like people being themselves. They like people fitting into a bracket and into a box and into a category that they like seeing, which is influencers and celebrities and BBLs and etc. It's like they like to see certain things. So because he's not trying to fit into that and openly trolling and doing satire related to it, I respect it, because it's like, I love a good satire. And you're doing it.
And he's getting rewarded from it.
And you're getting rewarded from it. You got motherfuckers like Boosie up in the air and shit. My nigga.
Boosie's fucking
What old ass Boosie gotta do to worry about that shit?
Come
Old ass Boosie don't gotta worry about that. Right. But it's like, why care? Once again, you worried about the wrong shit. And if you worried about your kids, further censor what you gotta do with your kids. But otherwise, you can't be mad at somebody just doing that.
Do you think he's having an effect? You think what he's doing is going to have an effect on the children?
I feel like whatever today's world is having an effect on the children. I don't think he's the main catalyst of it. No, does he feed into everything else?
Is there
when it comes to today is the era of self-expression, individuality, and being queer and being open and being there and bold and here.
I don't think what Lil Nas X is doing is anything like. If a child has a smartphone or a tablet or access to the internet, I don't feel like what Lil Nas is presenting is worse than what they probably already seen, already have access to.
Britman Rock, other people, fucking Nikita Dragon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who even forget our trends. You forget that they transition.
Fuck. What's that one conscious hoe name? And I'm calling her conscious hoe because that's really what she is. It's something Suki.
Oh, Suki Hana.
Yeah, Suki Hana.
You think she trans?
No. I'm just saying, like, the video that she just released. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's very like risque.
I mean, it's only a release only.
Why don't you think why do you think like Frank Ocean is one of the most beloved artists in the world, and like you rarely hear or if rarely never hear anybody like bashing him for being gay?
I mean, he minds his business. He's out the way. He's not focused on being a troll. He's not focused on doing the most to make a spectacle.
And also,
that was 10 years ago.
I gotta defend.
But even at the time he did it, I feel like it was more risky for him to come out when he did than what Nas X did.
But risky is not the same as doing it for a spectacle and a show.
I gotta defend black men. I have to defend black men in this subject. Black men don't care if another man is gay. We truthfully we don't. Listen.
I'm with her on this
we
one.
We don't. If a dude come up, if you find out a dude is gay, like if JC told me he's gay, right? I'm like, okay, he's gay. You feel me? That's it. What black men have a problem with is like the whole like.
You can't say that.
I'm telling you.
You gotta say you.
Because
there's a lot of black men that you can tell. Like,
granted, there are niggas who are like. There are niggas
get the
who are
F
more.
away, like, come on, growing up, how many niggas you see? Look, get the F away from me. That nigga gay,
I'm not saying
like
that those men. I'm not saying that those men don't exist, but I think there's far more black men than we realize who are just kind of like, all right, you're gay, just like, you know, as long as you don't try me, as long as you don't try me.
I think it's half and half.
Well, however many, I feel like this whole stigma is placed on all black men that it's like he's gay. I think there's more black men than people realize that can like just be like, oh, you're gay. Okay, well, you know, don't disrespect me. Don't nothing.
No, for sure.
But those aren't popularized.
It's not popularized because it's like a silent group. It's like we don't have to talk about it.
Not problem for them, but problem in general.
Because the people who have an issue with it, they're loud. You feel me? So you're always going to hear them. You're always going to see it. The dudes who don't have a problem, they're just like quiet
on that plateau, and that's why like I don't really care about what Boosie does, because I grew up with a bunch of little boozies. It's just that he got a microphone and a platform in front of him, so it's look like he's like the I don't know, like the poster child for hating gay men.
Yeah, like the memes.
But he really, a lot of the verbiage he uses is a lot of spit that black men hear growing up from men and women. It's a lot of black people that feel that same exact way, and you even seen some people come out to his defense, like, oh, like I don't want that spit for my children or whatever. So there's both sides of the spectrum. But does it not
go back to the root of homophobia in the black community?
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
Just as long as we can touch it.
100%.
Like,
just a little bit, as long as we can acknowledge that.
And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying,
right.
like, I know.
But I wanted to make that point too, because let's not forget where it's rooted. Is that, like I said, black people can't be regular humans. They can't explore regular human shit. They can't do what regular humans do because what regular humans do is what white people do, right? Because white people get all the privileges.
I don't think white people are regular humans.
No, not saying that they are, but that's the stigma that's put on, right? Is that what they do is deemed regular, what we do or what we can and cannot do is deemed irregular. We have a lot more restrictions than white people doing the same exact shit because of our skin color. So they have the luxury of thinking or being able to experience just being human, not being a black human, not being a human that's a threat, not being a human that can't do other shit, or that has to be emasculized because, if that's a word, because bear with me, but have to be taken away, their masculinity taken away from them because of the threat to their color alone. Nobody asked for a little melanin. You feel me? Like, we didn't ask for this. It's not like we bred and tried to be like, yeah, we're going to make a super race like y'all tried to do outside of not even trying to breed it. But even when y'all bred, y'all failed. Sorry. Moving forward, I'm just saying that we don't get the luxury to just live. Yeah. That's my point, is that we don't get the luxury to live. We don't get the wiggle room for any experience outside of what's deemed the norm or what's deemed straight or what's deemed masculine or what's deemed right. We don't get that luxury like white people do. That's my biggest point, is that I hate that for us. Because we deserve to live and be human and have all the access to any experience we want to have without any stigma or problems or hate or death behind it. Period. That's how I feel.
No,
from white people or from within our own group?
I'm talking about as a fucking human. Fuck white, black. I don't care. I feel like as a human,
as a
black human, I don't get that luxury either.
Like, I hear what you're saying, but like the way my mind works, I'm always on the extreme. So,
and I hear you.
To have any experience, that means anything is on the table. So we can go to like the most extreme experience. Let's say I'm into like children. Is that an experience that should be allowed?
I mean, there's always different variables and wiggle room. There's always different ethics that are put into play.
Right. So I'm saying, like, for me personally, I feel like that's an experience that we should not allow.
Sure, but that doesn't mean it's not allowed. I mean, don't forget, like,
no, but I'm saying that is
because that's a good example.
That's an experience that we object, like, because like if you ever went to took a humanities class, we could say there's like different cultures where like out in the woods, like there's a specific culture where the men have sex with the boys, like that's part of their culture. They're not in like any Western civilization, and that's part of their culture. And so you could argue, who are we to go to their culture and tell them, you guys can't do this anymore? And we aren't. We can't do this anymore. You're not allowed to do it anymore.
We should only speak on.
But at the same time, just based off of how I'm set up, it's like if I knew somebody was having sex with children, I would have a serious problem with that. And I'm like, that's not something that I would allow or be okay with. So I get what you're saying, because like your perspective of the human experience is like it is like.
But don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, part of the human experience, and I say unfortunately because I'm into taboo shit, not pedophilia. Let me make it very clear. However, I have my own subset of taboo shit I'm into, and unfortunately, like, there is a lot that's not okay when it comes to the human experience. Unfortunately, there is a lot that's not okay that has been deemed okay, whether it's porn, whether it's other things. Like, it be a problem.
And I think part of the human experience, obviously, is experiencing and being able to have these experiences, but also part of the human experience is is understanding that there are just certain experiences that you will not be able to have for whatever
or
reason.
just having a code of ethics. Period.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but they're like the same way.
I mean, that comes hand in
like,
hand. Absolutely.
What I'm saying, it's a duality, is what I'm saying. Like you can have like the pluses, or you can have the negatives. So it's like I can keep on going in this direction and be free and free and free, but there are other entities out there in the world that feel differently and be like, no, you can't, and I'm willing to cut that shit off entirely so that won't happen. And it's like, even though that's like it's in the opposite of the philosophy, that is still a perspective that is like, okay, I understand that, and that has to be allowed as well. And that's like, I feel like that's what we're battling in like the whole grand scheme of like the universe. It's like, what can be allowed, what can't be allowed, what can be allowed, what can't be allowed.
And it's all subjective, and that's what it comes down to, is that people should not be caught up of what their idea of the world is. Not saying that because you think pedophilia, or because I think pedophilia is wrong, doesn't make it wrong because we are one group. I'm saying that there are certain code of ethics that people go by. There are a certain level of logic. To me, having taken a logic class for philosophy 2 times, and understanding that logic is one of those things where I can use a simple formula for arguments to make deductive reasoning make sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to things that are off limits ethically and morally, like kids or otherwise, they obviously don't have the comprehension to consent. So obviously they're taken off the table for people to talk to.
Right.
Because consent is part of sex, but that's me understanding logically that I don't think that it's right morally and ethically to have sex with somebody who does not logically let me know comprehensively that they are consenting to what's happening right now.
And that's a limit.
Different worlds. I get that, and I understand that. I'm not saying
now on that subject, there are pedophilia groups who feel strongly like we should be able to do it because
sure, and I've seen that come up as far as a sexual preference and things like that. I've heard that come up recently.
I wanted to say something earlier, but I had to intervene now because this is going too far. D.
Okay.
That is such a dangerous precedent to compare pedophilia to gays having that.
I'm not comparing
argument.
pedophilia to homosexuality. I'm comparing the concept of being able to have any experience.
But still, because I've seen that argument before.
Because it is that is
and they take
that
super personal, and I understand that.
They can take it personally, but what I'm saying is, if the idea is I should be able to have any experience that I want, it's like, where does that begin and where does that end?
Where do you draw the line?
Where do we draw the line? And I'm only using pedophilia as an example because it's an extreme example, and it's like an example that most people can say like, this is a line, even though there's still groups who feel like that's not the line. But for most people, they say this is the line. I'm not saying homosexuality is on par with pedophilia, because homosexuality, 2 adults doing their thing, go ahead, no problem. Me personally,
because at minimum, it's both of y'all decision.
Yeah, it's both of y'all decision. As a child, it's like, no, that's not. It's not the same. So I'm not saying those 2 things are comparable. But what I'm saying is, if the philosophy behind why I'm doing what I'm doing is just to,
I guess we skipped over the part of consent.
Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, do what I want. Then it's kind of like that. So I feel like consent. Granted, thank you for
that disclaimer would have been nice. I'm just
saying.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I could have said like, yo, I like.
I understand that.
You know, I like throwing shit at people. Like, that's just an experience that I want to have. I just want to be able to shit in my hand and throw it at people because that's an experience that I want for myself. And it's like, wait a minute, that ain't cool. Like, you feel me? So there has to be certain lines, and it's like, how do you go about?
But see, that's a whole nother conversation. Who makes or
exactly,
draws that
and
line?
I feel like we as a society do, but how do you go about drawing the line? Like, where does the line stop? And like, can the line, when the line is obviously, the line can be drawn and moved, but it's like, how do we figure out that this is the line that we're not going to go past? Is all I'm saying. But yeah, for anybody out there that that's gay or is like whatever, I'm not trying to compare homosexuality or pedophilia. I'm just making an example.
And I ain't doing that openly. It's just a matter of there's different.
You might want to say that when it comes back because I'm editing this part.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. Like, it's whatever. I'll eat that. I'll eat that. It's cool. I'll fight that.
Nah, it's just that I've seen that before, and at first I didn't understand like how serious that was or how why that should be taken like why they took it so offensive. But as I'm older, obviously, and I've grown, like that's I feel like if you can stay away from that. Yeah, and I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
I mean,
like,
and I know
I would try to like.
I know we're going into like a very volatile like subject matter, but it's like I like having this conversation just because it's.
I mean, it's open to dialogue.
It's interesting to like debate, or not even debate, but just to kind of like share ideas and thoughts on these type of subjects because it gets like really deep into like how our mind creates our reality for us.
But that's the thing, code of ethics for personal beings and what is right, what's wrong morally, ethically, all that, because it's like it definitely varies, and I feel like it can make for a good debate for sure, but definitely
because like I'll even use myself, like I had 2 girlfriends at the same time. So some people be like, yo, that shit crazy in the motherfucker. Some motherfuckers be like, yo, that's horrible, you should never do something like that ever.
Bro, I remember when we was doing that, that's why I was so scared, bro. Moms just say that because I know she's like super Christian, not, you know what I'm saying? And I grew up that way as well, but like, you know, certain stuff in the church is like
exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
And so like for me, like that's their line, and I respect it because it's like I get it, like that's your point of view, and that's what I have to just accept about people is like some people are just that's just what they are, that's just who they are. They're never gonna change their mind, no matter how passionately I argue with them, no matter what type of logic I present, no matter what type of evidence I present, no matter how much I show them that this is okay and it's peaceful and it's not hurting anybody and everybody's good. They're still like locked into their perspective, and I can't do anything about that. I just have to accept that this is a hard stop right here, so I have to move in a different direction.
Well, clearly Huso watched this last week and wanted to have homophobia part 2 because our last episode was long on that exact topic of homophobia in the black community. But I mean, this is something that it has been I don't even know how to say it, but like this is something that's been going on for basically since the beginning of time. Yeah, because it's always been homosexuality and stuff like that, and then you know the derivative effects on the black community of homosexuality we can date back to centuries. So you know, obviously this is something that's gonna take a long time to dismantle. So it's gonna take a lot of dialogue and conversation, and all these different viewpoints, whether it's as ignorant as Boozy or, you know, as a Nas X who's advocating for his side. Like, I feel like all of it's important as far as like it being addressed.
Right.
So, and we could put a button on it there on that because I'm sure, like 100% sure, we're gonna have that conversation again at some point. So let's try to go on a lighter note.
That's when we're gonna be charged up too.
Especially Evan with you. I'm gonna go to her first because she said she didn't listen to either one yet.
So why do you want to come?
In general,
I don't want to come.
Because obviously I have a question regarding it outside
question?
of that.
Because I probably don't got an answer to it that you're looking for. So talk to me.
Okay, so I mean, any topic that you feel like you didn't listen or you didn't watch, you want me to just not talk to you at all?
I mean, I'm just saying, if you have a question, go for it. What's your question?
I'm asking you.
And that's
because is that the reaction I'm gonna get every time? Because obviously I was going to a certain place.
Has that been the reaction every time? No.
I've gotten it before.
Okay, that's fair. However, I'm telling you, go ahead. Let's hear about it.
Okay, who do you F with more out of Ye or Drake? Like, who do you say you like? You follow more, or who you know?
I know more of Drake's discography for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, COB or Donda?
Certified Lover Boy.
What?
Yeah. I know that's surprising, right?
What?
I tried to listen to Donda. He scared me.
I was telling my little cousin, like, I swear, I think this nigga gonna come in here with that Donda spit.
Kanye, what? Because it was dark when I first put the album on, and he scared me with his first track.
Oh, that. Bro, my girl literally almost slapped me upside my head because the whole time it was just Donda.
From that point forward, I was like, it put me.
I didn't know, and I was like, wait, and I got mad because I'm like, wait, I'm trying to hear like where it's going, and then I was just like, and I was like, what?
Like, and prior to like listening to it, I had saw like, you know, he was dedicating an album to his mother, and like I had saw like a narrative online. I was like, I'm not gonna listen to that. But what he gonna like conjure his mother in my cars, like in my house or something like that. And so
I feel like it was like some type of
yeah, but I mean, just overall, I feel like Donda isn't like a complete thought. I feel like he's moving in a certain direction as far as like musically, but I don't feel like it's complete. Like I feel like he probably should have waited like a year, maybe even 2 years to kind of like figure out exactly what he's doing.
Put it together.
Because it doesn't sound like your regular hip hop music. It sounds like he's trying to make music.
I mean, he had a million rap features on it, like damn near every effing song.
But I think he's trying to merge. He's like trying to merge like a new type of gospel with music that's specifically tailor made for like 100,000 seat stadiums with like the bravado of hip hop. That's what I feel he's trying to do, and he like didn't necessarily like some of the songs hit, but I don't know. Whereas Certified Lover Boy, it's everything we love about Drake. Everything. Just,
I wouldn't say that.
Well,
and I'm the huge Drake fan, but it's at least like 5 songs on there I feel he could have did without.
I mean,
out of the 21.
I mean, if it's 21 songs, yeah, there's always gonna be at least a good amount.
Yeah.
I mean, but the way I am with Drake though, like with Scorpion, it was like one song I didn't like. Like I've never had, and I don't know, y'all probably call me a super fanboy or whatever, but there's only been one album Drake made, like not project, but album that he made where I like didn't like not one song. Like I liked every song from every album. The only song I didn't like from one of his albums, and I even kind of like this one because of Jay-Z's verse, was Talk Up.
Okay.
That's probably the only song where it was like, that was kind of some bullshit. But then he had the line where he was like, y'all killed X and let Zimmerman live, streets is done. So I had something I liked about it. CLB had like I'll say like Way Too Sexy was trash to me. Complete.
I see your status on that.
Yeah, that spit was complete trash. Like I was so shocked
I feel like it's for what it's supposed to be for, which is to be viral or in everybody's TikToks and songs and shit. Like,
but I feel like with that one, the names were more valuable to that song than what they actually brought to the table. I feel like a Drake feature and Thug, that's a easy number one anyway. So I feel like they didn't. I don't know. Like they could have put more effort into that. It was like they knew that was a cheat code with those 3. So I mean, are y'all upset as upset as I am that Andre 3000 verse was wasted?
Well, I mean, I heard it. I heard it.
I didn't hear it.
You haven't heard it?
I have not heard
it. His verse is beautiful.
Are you still mad that he had a verse wasted though? Like,
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but at the same time, I appreciate where he was coming from. Where it's like he didn't expect for this to be beef albums, and he was just trying to give his piece. Objectively, not as a beef situation.
For that.
So I feel like, especially Kanye for that situation, because it's like he was supposed to be on Yo song. So it's like you switch up the whole format, you turn into a diss track.
And you gonna use you gonna use a
and
3
then you didn't want to tell
that?
nobody. And then on top of that, you want to use one of the most conscious rappers that's the least like problematic.
Right. Oh my god. Right. Of all people on your song.
I don't know. It was weird. So I didn't knock where Andre 3000 was coming from. I feel like it was a miss on Kanye's part.
I was mad when I even seen that he had a long, drawn out like statement that he had to release. It like made me sick to my stomach.
I didn't like
that he even had to do that.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because when is Andre ever involved
he don't
in drama?
In the
like ever in hip hop beef anything?
Yeah.
Like he stayed to himself, plays his flute. You know what I'm saying? He ain't worried about you know what I'm saying? He don't even care about performing, none of that. And selfishly, I know we want more of that, but it's like he literally keeps to himself, and he get dragged in this.
But he tried,
petty spit,
and that's why he fucks with himself, because it's like he tried, and he was about to be looped into a diss track for no fucking reason.
And that's what made me even more mad, because it's like, I feel like y'all just made it worse. Now he really not finna be working as much. He not finna come out.
He wanted to work with Drake, but now it's like y'all just tried to put him up for a diss track against Drake and other people, and it's like, what do you really try to do? I'm happy he didn't have the Drake or his verse out
like on the actual
in the mix
album.
because ultimately I feel like Kanye had nefarious reasons to have him on there.
Right.
He tried to have him as kind of like a scapegoat. To me, outside looking in, not having much insight, I feel like he tried to use a good lyricist as kind of like a crutch for a diss record. And it's like, if you want to diss somebody by yourself and have your own beef towards them, but don't bring in a feature of a good lyricist or otherwise any feature of any artist into your beef. They ain't got nothing to do with them, and onto a diss track that they don't have nothing to do with or know about. Because he could have at least known about it. I mean, something like that. Like, it was shady. Especially not him. One of the least problematic motherfuckers in the game
that we've ever had.
Absolutely. So it's like, what's the problem?
Yeah, and they whole like outside their album antics, like their petty antics versus each other, was pretty damn funny to me. Like Kanye was like leaking Drake's address.
Technically that's like a 13, 14 year, maybe even longer prolonging beef.
Oh yeah, no, I can
like
tell,
where it
I can tell you
from.
Exactly when after Kanye dropped 808s and Heartbreak. First off,
no, I mean it like starting from the Pusha versus Cash
Money.
Oh yeah, and then turning into that.
Yeah, I mean. Drake is definitely carrying some beef for
Birdman and Wayne,
Birdman
for sure.
and Wayne, but just Kanye has a personal issue with Drake because I feel like I can't say it because I don't know this man, but just the way it looks, it seems like Drake makes him feel insecure or something about how good he can rap or how popular and how successful Drake is with making music. And it's like
I ain't look at it like that.
When Drake first came out, right, with the Best I Ever Had, Kanye made that horrible ass video for him.
You think he did that on purpose?
I feel like. When have we ever seen a bad Kanye video? Ever?
Kanye never directed a video before that though.
He directs
that
his
was
own
his first video.
He directs his own.
He probably added an element to it, but he had niggas like Hype Williams. Like, come on, bro.
But I'm saying
of course he
like,
gonna make it.
Like what? Like look, I don't
Drake just straight gave Kanye his video.
I don't want to put any type of intention on somebody unfairly, but it's like. The only bad video I've ever seen connected to Kanye was that Drake video. Honestly, that was probably one of the worst videos I've ever seen to such a great song.
But do you remember that time, like, people were on Drake's neck? Like, that's a terrible career decision. Even before the video came out, for you to allow Kanye to direct your first video, and that's his, like, directorial debut. Most of the other ones was him alongside the greatest video director ever.
I mean, it's Kanye. Like Kanye comes
right because it was Kanye. He trusted him, and people thought that was a terrible move for Drake. Now he was able to beat Drake in spite of that, and still surpass Ye in a way.
And Kanye feel like he kind of not saying he birthed Drake, but he kind of gave Drake a good direction because he feel like Drake took the 808 Heartbreak sound and made it his own. Just kind of like perfected it.
I mean, was that before So Far Gone? Like,
yeah, 808 Heartbreaks came out first, and then So Far Gone came out, and then like Drake, because I honestly didn't like 808 Heartbreaks when I first heard it, but Drake took one of them beats and murdered it, just straight up murdered it.
Say What's Real.
Yeah, Say What's Real. Yeah. And then like that whole like dark, kind of like moody, but still hip hop.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Find Your Love was for 808s and Heartbreaks. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because it sounds like it belongs on that album.
Yeah, but damn. Okay, so I never.
And that's my.
But Drake did say when he was talking about the him and Pusha thing, he did bring up like why he's going so hard on Kanye because he said it's kind of always felt like there was a little
tension,
something there, that he could just never put his finger on. And even Pusha T said it. He was like, I don't know about they bromance or whatever they got going, sarcastically like. I don't know what them two niggas got going, but it seems like they've always had this thing where it's like it was always something out of nowhere. Like somebody got an issue with this, and then he got an issue with this, and then these niggas is celebrating each other and best friends and spit. And it was just like always a back and forth petty thing. And I think Drake going so hard on Kanye now, honestly, I think what that derives from is Pusha T. He got the best of him in that battle or whatever. Yeah. But I think in a way Drake is trying to go at Kanye. In a way to say, like, Pusha, you not even worthy to be mentioned in the breath of me is like a back and forth. Like, Kanye is worth me going that far in subtle disses. You not worth. I'm elevating you by doing that. I can't elevate Kanye no more than he already is. So that's honestly what I think Drake's animosity. That's why he goes so hard on Kanye. Because even on Deppy, it was like. It sounds like he was going more at Ye than Pusha T. When he talked about this diss track that he claims he decided not to release, he sounded like he was going more at Kanye than he was Pusha T. So I don't know. I think that's really about. I feel like they both just been having like a dick measuring contest the
Yeah,
past 10,
pretty
10, 11 years. And that's pretty much why they, that's been going the way that it's been going.
That's facts. But I love beef in hip hop, like any type of competition or whatever.
I do too, but for some reason that one is just annoying at this point.
It's a whack one. It's a whack one because they won't come out and just make songs about each other like they're supposed to. And they just be doing little petty shit like putting
that's what just gets irritating.
Billboard over his billboard, like what? Like
trying to drop in your album a week apart, like all that little bullshit.
Like what? Like I'm gonna release his address, like. What's going on? Y'all gonna fight or y'all gonna like?
Right.
I feel like
or kiss and make up. Like
I feel like it's two like really like kind of nerdy petty niggas. Just like, and this is how they beef with each other. It's like y'all not gonna say y'all not gonna really confront
showing
each other.
How non-street them niggas really are.
It's like, look, I'm less bothered by this than you are. I'm less bothered.
But would we rather have this or would we rather have like the beefs where like niggas end up dead and niggas end up
I don't want nobody to get hurt.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the Cold War of rap beefs.
Yeah,
so it's like
I don't want nobody to die, but or even get beat up. I don't want nobody to get touched.
But it's like because we was so intrigued by 50 in Game, but niggas died. We was intrigued by Pac and Biggie.
If we could have a gentleman's beef like a Nas and a Jay-Z.
Like, can y'all niggas fence or something at this point?
Yeah, something. Or just get in the gloves. Like, I don't know.
Like,
man.
something.
Play chess. Like,
right, at this point. Shit, let's even get a heavy game of checkers. Cause just in case I don't even know about chess.
Play rock,
let's
paper,
get checkers popping. About 5 to 8 rounds. Like, let's get something. Come on now.
Like, just so they could objectively say I'm better and then call it a day.
So something we've talked about multiple times on here, but it's took another turn. There's an official vaccine mandate, something that a year ago they said would never happen, but here we are. More lies, as always. Joe Biden signed off on a vaccine mandate. I can't say what the specifics are through, but I know for the most part it's like if you got employees of 100 or more, or if it's a federal job, or and I think some states are like at their own discretion or whatever, but nonetheless there's a vaccine mandate that's in effect, but that doesn't apply to everybody that's in Congress. So how do y'all feel about that?
Why doesn't it apply to everybody in Congress?
Because Biden apparently doesn't have power over certain people in Congress on that side, so he doesn't have the authority to tell them that they have to get vaccinated.
Damn, so is that a moment of us giving Biden a break in that regard, considering they can control these people who are in power before he was and holding power they can't get rid of?
I feel like it's bigger than Biden.
Absolutely.
At the fact
but
that...
that's what I'm saying. But people be mad at Biden right now for this thing, but it's
they are, some of them.
Absolutely, but it's like, are we not looking at the fact that these people can't be touched? Why can't they be touched? Let's go to that.
But maybe he can come from a perspective of, well, since I can't force them to do it, well, I'm going to force everybody else to do it. He could look at it. That could be something to be mad about, because I feel like it's unconstitutional, inhumane, all that.
Out of his way, though. Like, that nigga be sleep half the meetings. Which is what I talked about in the last episodes about these niggas being old and senile.
No, he
going
for real
to
do
sleep.
though. This nigga be talking about spit.
I thought it was a joke
mad
at
when they
first.
ask relevant questions.
And then I couldn't be mad because I'm like, I understand exactly what people are talking about because this nigga really be not there. He be sleep. He be old. And I don't think we need somebody over 65, 70 to be our president, period. I said this a couple episodes ago. I'm going to still stick to it. Ageist or not, clearly it's not working for us. So, Sleepy Joe ain't going to do shit for us. I mean, that nigga be knocked. I've seen a few different videos like my nigga. You coming out of dreams talking. Like, what do you really got to say? Like, did you hear what just happened?
Right.
Or nah, because you was knocked out, your eyes was closed, mask on. I don't understand.
And it's funny because Bush used to do that same exact
and I believe
spit,
it, because Bush is that type of nigga. He looking at demographic. Like, he look, real lost.
Nigga talking about horses and shit. Like, what? Nigga, we asked you about the planes crashing the building. Where are you talking about?
You seen when Biden said he said the
like,
best way
really
to, like, protect yourself from a hurricane is to get vaccinated?
That's what Biden
He didn't say that.
He said it.
He didn't say it.
Yeah, he said
I
the
hope
best.
that was
No,
a
he
figure
didn't.
of speech.
He didn't say that.
No, he meant exactly that.
No.
He meant exactly that.
On a public thing.
On a public platform.
See,
Yeah.
let me say something about this.
And that's that shit where it's like, I can't be behind you if you do dumb shit like that. Like, sir.
Let me say something about this vaccine mandate.
Sir.
It's like, actually, you know what? I'll go to the next thing because it's gonna kind of tie into it. Did y'all see the Nicki Minaj and Joanne Reed?
I didn't see it. Like, I'm familiar with what happened.
Okay, so
she wasn't for it.
So Nicki has some tweets where I guess she didn't go to the Met Gala because they required everybody to be vaccinated, and she said she felt like she wants to do more research before she makes a decision whether she does or doesn't.
Sure.
She's not just about to go inject something in her body, and she said she caught COVID actually recently, and she wasn't able to be around her son, so she's just not going to any public event right now, and she's just doing more of her own, I guess, research in whatever way that she's doing it, and then at some point she'll decide officially if she wants to get vaccinated or not. She brought up a story of a friend of a friend or cousin of a cousin, whatever.
Whose balls fell off or some shit.
Whose balls, I guess, swole up to the point where, like, I guess they swole up so big that I guess his wife ended up leaving him or something due to it or
what?
or something
like
to
a
that
lie.
degree.
Go ahead.
Okay, right. And there was people calling her out on that and saying, like, I call bullshit or whatever, and making a headline. Obviously, it's Nicki Minaj, and then there was even and then there was this main point of which drove it even bigger, where, in my opinion, me looking at it, it looked like it was some white people behind it that, like, made this black woman go up there and kind of, like, go at Nicki, like, purposely to, like, so I guess nobody can accuse them of being racist or nothing like that. But I'm gonna play the clip real quick, and then I'll get y'all thoughts on it.
And people like Nicki Minaj, I have to say this. You have a platform, sister, that is 22 million followers. Okay, I have 2 million followers. You have 22 million followers on Twitter. For you to use your platform to encourage our community to not protect themselves and save their lives, my God, sister, you could do better than that. You got that platform. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that you got that people listen to you. And they listen to you more than they listen to me. For you to use your platform to put people in the position of dying from a disease they don't have to die from, oh my God. As a fan, as a hip-hop fan, as somebody who was your fan, I'm so sad that you did that. So sad that you did that, sister. Oh my God.
It's the sisters for me. It's given very much. You trying to appease to a public service announcement that you don't even believe in.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
And I was just about to ask, does that look genuine to you?
No.
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
I thought it was just me.
That looked like a whole thing. Like, girl.
Talking about that, I'm such a fan of your hip hop. Like, you can't even do it right now.
It's the various sisters.
Right.
Sister, and you have 20 million, 22
and
million.
you telling them not to get
sister,
this vaccine.
And sister, black
It's
people
like,
who
what
really
the
say
fuck?
that shit don't say it like that.
Right.
Know that.
Right.
It's not a sister. It's so what's up, sis? Let me let you know what's up. You know, it's not but sister, you're doing too much. Sister, you're not doing the right thing. Like, sister, shut the fuck up. Cause I don't like it. Like, you give it very much scripted. So I don't know what more to say about that. Is that she faked that shit. She did it well, I guess.
And mind you,
yeah, me too. Cause I want to know. Like,
and mind you, like, Nicki never said don't get vaccinated.
And that's the part.
She also had tweets where she said that at some point she might get vaccinated. Again, she's just doing more research for herself before she decides to just jump head first on something that's so new right now. So her even jumping out there and saying, like, oh, you're telling your fans don't get vaccinated. She never said don't get vaccinated. Just throwing that out there. She didn't say that. Now, if she could have said, like, you're kind of insinuating in a way to not get it. But even then, it's like, no, because Nicki was kind of, she said what she said. Take what she said for face value. She said, I'm undecided. And the fact that there's such an attack on anybody who doesn't blindly just get the vaccine or advocate to get the vaccine, that's making me be more resilient
because they're going
against
hard.
it. Because why? And this type of pandering that clearly y'all agree with me on. I thought I was tripping.
It's giving. Let me pay you for the vaccine. Let me give you a free 6-5 ticket. Let me give you perks for just getting the vaccine that we want you to get, as opposed to just doing what you
let it be out there. Give people the facts and I don't understand what is so hard about that, as we've always done with the flu shot. Didn't they always? It's just always out there. We see signs for it all the time. Sometimes people, like, how many niggas we knew that just, hey, I just needed a little bread real quick. I donated some blood, got $30. Like, we've had needles injected in us by choice, but
weed,
think
fried
about
chicken.
I'm gonna let you go first.
They got Juvie and Manny Fresh. They pulled out all the stops. They pulled all the stops out to get niggas. They've even told inmates that will reduce some of your time if you get it.
Wow.
Like all type of shit.
Did y'all see the video with old boy that was like, I guess he was, they didn't say it, but he was like supposed to be looking like a drug dealer, and he's like sitting on his Ben's like this, like, look, I sell things. I gotta do my thing.
Exactly.
So I gotta get vaccinated. Like it's
I sell
it's the pandering for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it's like they try to make it seem like we don't have a good reason not to trust the government to begin with. Right. Like we have every reason not to trust the government,
especially as black people.
And then like bigger pharmaceutical companies, like the government big pharmas, like the fuck, like nigga, I'm gonna just trust y'all niggas out the gate.
Right.
No.
Anything you was added to that?
Yeah, I mean, whatever I thought I was gonna say, I forgot about. So it's cool. Regardless.
So how do y'all like? Don't it seem like anytime? And I'm just, not even just with this vaccine, but like it seems like when rappers have certain opinions on things outside of hip hop, it's like these other black leaders that are thrown out there to have like this back and forth.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Arguing in front of everybody, debating, try to embarrass and humiliate in front of everybody. It's like this thing where it's like they always right on cue.
There's a clip on YouTube of Malcolm X talking about something, and then immediately like the reporter asks like a black person like, "What do you think about that?" And Malcolm X like, yo, like you see, y'all always do that. Anytime you have a black person speaking strongly, they always want to like get a dissenting opinion.
He said that about when they used to do that with him and Martin.
Yeah,
he didn't like that shit. Even though, and it's crazy how us as a community, we do so much Martin versus Malcolm now, but Malcolm wasn't with that spit, and neither was Martin for that matter.
Yeah, no, like that's totally a narrative that was given to us by white people. For sure, like Malcolm versus Martin.
Because that's how they felt. They hated Malcolm. That's what that was.
That's what it was. Like,
but I mean, does so let's say y'all are in a predicament where y'all have this particular job that's requiring y'all to get vaccinated, or I ain't gonna use y'all an example. If there was somebody who has a job where they have to get vaccinated and their livelihood depends on it, what would y'all recommend for that particular person?
I can't give them no
I mean, that depends on their situation. That's on their situation.
I just can tell them what I would do.
Do you need that for life? Do you need that to survive? Then you might need to take that step if you value trying to survive outside of actual survival. Because your survival rates might be different taking the vaccine than your intent to survive and provide for people to survive. So ultimately, I feel like that's a hard thing to try to quantify, considering that's an individual choice and a moral choice and what their bigger picture is choice.
You even explaining it in that way pisses me off even more that they made that mandate. The fact that you even put somebody in that predicament to where like they have to choose between a conviction they feel versus like their survival
what will
mode
kill
with
them,
their family,
or their family.
You know what I'm saying? Like that mandate is, and I know there's probably a lot coming forth, or maybe that's gonna change. I feel like it's gonna get real crazy because it's already like the LAPD is suing California, I believe, or Los Angeles, for them even implementing the mandate. There's a lot of people that need to get vaccinated by October 1st, or they're not going to have a job, or by December, or they're not going to have a job.
I like how we haven't talked about the fact that Caitlyn is to like run for governor. Cause it's like, that's just a hell of a joke. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know how y'all feel about Gavin Newsom. I'm not too into politics, however. It seems like that nigga's been holding it down for the last couple of years.
Right.
And Caitlyn Jenner can't do shit to ruffle that up or make that any better from what this nigga's been trying to do pre-COVID and while in COVID. I feel like as a human and as somebody who's a leader, you have to do what you can do when you're leading over 1 million people in a space. And you have to make certain mandates. I feel like, granted, I'm not in the loop. So this is outsider looking in, very limited information that is giving this perspective. However, niggas did what they had to do is what I see it as. Like, but our niggas don't want to take ruling and shit like we need to as far as mandates and things like that. So shit gets worse.
Right.
And it's not
because
just
that's
us,
black
it's
people
white
in
people
general.
too.
You telling us we have to get.
We gonna have to do the opposite. What the fuck are you talking about? I feel like that has to do with the conditioning of our black shit, of the black trauma that we've had, is that y'all trying to tell us something, we finna do the opposite, because what the fuck are you talking about? It's been going okay so far, and we make it work. But when it comes down to, I feel like Gavin Newsom shouldn't be gone, and Caitlyn Jenner definitely shouldn't replace him, considering she don't... I was going to say some shit that's very not okay. However, she does not know the lay of the land like she thinks she wants to know.
I mean, we let Schwarzenegger be a damn.
And that's
governor,
fair.
so, I mean,
and that's fair, but that was how many years ago?
The bar is low. Trump
and things
was
are
president.
different. And, then Trump became president, which lowered the bar a lot more. However, this person who... Oh, I don't want to get into it this episode. However... Like I said, it's a different sector of psychology that I'm not particularly interested in, nor have I studied when it comes to being into same-sex, trans, all of that. I feel like that's a different side of psychology that I don't know about. And I fall victim to because I am bisexual. However, there is just little things that I just don't understand. And she falls in that subset. And then on top of that, having zero political experience, seeing Donald Trump run for the last 4 years.
I just said the bar's in hell. That don't matter.
And I understand that. You did. And that just, it shows.
These days, people might find a positive outlook of that. Well, like, yeah, we don't need a regular politician or experienced politician.
And that's what they've been saying since Trump. But however, that's it. That's all. They not fit for it. She felt real disappointed when less than 1% or however 1% or whatever the fuck percent wanted to vote for her, which was not what she was looking for. She had her feelings hurt. Like, baby, first of all, you just came into who you wanted to be like a year or two ago, for real. Let's talk about it. So how you gonna rule a whole state when you just a year or two ago, you're not even 5 years strong into your decision of who you decided to be for the rest of your life, and we don't even know if that's for sure. And that's controversial. Call it what you want. I don't give a fuck. You're human. You don't know what you want.
That's controversial. You don't want to know what I think.
Shit. And if they think that's controversial, they don't want to know my other thoughts. And that's what it comes down to. I'm trying to be modest for real. But ultimately, kudos to Caitlyn Jenner. I'm just saying, don't think that you qualify for a race that you ain't never been bred for. So that's it. That's all.
So I'll personalize it since you had no answer. If whatever line that you do, because I know you got multiple businesses, you got multiple things you do, but whatever your bread and butter is requires a vaccination mandate. How do you respond to that, or do you not know yet?
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting vaccinated. Like, just based off of who I am.
Oh, you're saying there's nothing that can change your mind, period, going forward? Like, not even a year or two from now?
Like, I would have to literally, nah, like, anything that's
even
like...
if they're going to take away your line of how you eat.
I'm willing to play a zero-sum game when it comes to it, because I'm just don't like to be forced to do anything. That's just how I am with everything. That's how I am with women. That's how I am with just like, it's like, you're not gonna force me to do nothing I don't want to do. It's like, I'll die if it comes to that. Cause it's like, if that's how they pressing it.
Killmonger.
I'm just saying, if that's how they pressing it, like if they pressing it, they going that hard with it, then I'm like, something else.
Nah, I feel you. Them going this hard is literally making me more resistant of doing it. Like, the fact that y'all are doing all of that and trying to, and then trying to,
y'all give away money for less.
Then you win against everything y'all said a year and a half ago of we will never make a mandate. And I don't know, maybe that was just Trump. I don't know. But last I recall, it was said that would never be even on the table.
Last I heard,
and
martial law was coming through. So I guess I didn't get that.
Hey,
I didn't get that. I didn't get what you heard, but last I heard, martial law was coming through.
Like,
right.
Say what you want about the nigga. That is one thing Trump was emphatic about. Like, I'm not gonna make y'all get a vaccination. Yeah. Like,
and that's cool.
Period.
But he was definitely willing to have military all up in our neighborhoods.
I'm not saying
and I know you're not saying it. I'm just saying.
But
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that in there. Like, yeah. I mean, pros and cons to everything, right? Everybody, everything. Kudos. Moving forward. That nigga Joe fumbling to play is what it's looking like. He fumbling to play a little bit.
And don't even get me started on this motherfucker talking about like the IRS.
You got him started. All right, it's here, like, bro. You wanna lay on the couch?
No, but like the bank's got to report like every $600 transaction.
I did hear about that. I didn't know how real that was.
Yeah, no, that shit is real. That shit is real.
But
like,
it's not official yet,
It's not
right?
official, but it's like it's a legislation that he's like trying to get.
So like, say
I'm taking all my money.
No, but check
I'm taking
it's like
all
the
my
shoebox is about to be fucking overflowing.
Can I get an example? Okay, so say I get a $650, $700 deposit in my bank account. It don't matter what it's for. It just happens.
Yeah.
I have to report it to the tax.
The bank is going to report it to the IRS. So currently, the way it is right now, it's in increments of 10,000. So every $10,000 transaction, that's not like
that's a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, that's not like readily sourced. Has to be reported.
Like
to the
not
IRS.
coming, like basically not coming from your job.
Yeah, not coming from your job or not coming from like some other financial institution that can be sourced. It's like. This has to be reported. Like I can't go to the bank with just $10,000 cash.
Damn, so that takes away even the Cash App money, right?
Yeah, all that Cash App, Venmo, all that.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it's like, it's like this nigga, like you owe this shit. You got dementia.
That nigga be sleep. Okay. Y'all think I'm playing?
Like
Sleepy Joe. That's one thing behind Trump. One thing out of Trump's mouth that I agree with. Sleepy ass Joe, because that nigga be sleep. Period. And they be sleep as fuck, so yeah.
And I feel like this is making an avenue for Trump to come back in office.
It is.
It
really is. Because like I was never a Trump supporter, but like just after once they were getting Trump out of office, I was like obviously I wasn't a Biden and Kamala Harris supporter either. Mm-hmm. I wasn't excited about them, but it's like damn nigga, it's like you doing more fucked up shit than what Trump was doing. And it's like, you about to have me fucking vote for Trump.
That's the problem.
I'm about to go out there and make sure you get out of office now. I'm about to make sure.
And I know they don't got nothing to do with gas, but I'm just saying, like.
No, he got something to do with that,
paying
too.
$5 a gallon all of a sudden. Like, come on,
he
my
got
nigga.
Something to do with, look, if the gas prices go up under your presidency, that's your fault. Like.
Somehow, some way.
Like, I don't know how it is, but it is.
All right. So. There was the most lopsided verses that I've seen yet that happened on my birthday, by the way. Fat Joe versus JaRule. I don't know who idea this was.
Really though.
And furthermore, in a way, I'm glad it happened because all you people not all you people. All you niggas who been bashing and hating and just trashing JaRule the past 10, 11 years or whatever, I'm glad that like he reminded our generation and our era what the hell he did and what like just how prevalent this man was for pretty much our entire childhood, because that reminder was much needed, because people were even like calling him the underdog going into the verses. Like people was saying Fat Joe, and as soon as I heard it, I got proof. I dated it the morning of the verses. I said Fat Joe is finna get washed tonight. I said that before they even started. Like I don't even know who thought that was a good idea or a good matchup. Anything. Like JaRule has a legit 20 hits, and he didn't even play all of them.
He got a catalog.
He has a legit 20 hits that he can play. Like I can count on one hand how many legit hits Fat Joe has to where it's like, yeah, that was like a smash.
Fat
Joe
Joe came out with more modern hits than
all the way up.
JaRule did over the 2010s and stuff.
But with
collabing
did you watch the Versus?
I didn't
Chris
watch
Brown
it.
and stuff.
I'm
just talking.
No, because I'm about to quote something.
Go ahead. I mean,
JaRule had an answer for that.
okay.
Fat Joe was making hits before JaRule. He was making hits when JaRule was in his prime. He's made hits post JaRule. And he still didn't have enough hits to match with JaRule.
Right. And I'm not
with
saying
all of that being
did
said.
match. I'm just saying that I feel like that's what makes JaRule the underdog is that they forget he had a period of time as opposed to keeping up.
So probably
with
age
the modern
demographic
shit.
would probably like,
That
oh,
too,
that guy
but
had a
also-
hit a couple years ago.
What made JaRule the underdog, and it's gonna go into my next point, is that he got washed by 50 Cent back in the day, and the only proper verses for JaRule is 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
Yeah.
That's the only one. Anything else, like their legacy is forever tied to each other. Like JaRule can't get away from 50 Cent because that was just such a.
I never seen that though. Y'all okay? So what am I missing? How did 50 end JaRule? Because Ja was still making hits.
What 50 Cent did in essence, he delegitimized JaRule in every way. So like when JaRule came, because JaRule came out before.
I mean, 50 was when it got painted as a snitch at the time. So how was that?
No, I'm talking about 50 Cent had that window. So when JaRule first came out,
50 wasn't even thought of.
He wasn't thought of. So JaRule was seen as kind of like a
Great
singer.
value Tupac.
Yeah, there you go. Tupac, like kind of DMX nigga, but then he was able to sing and shit. And so it just so happened that JaRule and both 50 Cent are like both from Queens.
Mm-hmm.
So from 50's perspective, and this might be, I don't know how true it is, but from 50's perspective, he's like, yo, I'm really a hood street nigga from the block, from the area.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're not. And in fact, you a sing-song motherfucker. And they had whatever, I don't know exactly where they beef stem from, but 50 Cent just had the fucking force with him. Like, he just had the everything with him.
JaRule got stabbed and, if I'm not mistaken, robbed. Not stabbed. JaRule got robbed by a friend of 50's.
Okay.
And once Ja figured out 50 was affiliated with the dude that robbed him, he automatically was on some like F you. And 50 is the type of nigga where you slap him with your hand, he gonna hit you with a brick. You hit him with a brick, he gonna come with a gun. Like he don't play. It's like you might have started it, but he gonna finish it. Right. Like you can't. It's kind of like you can't tell somebody what's too far or what's too much disrespect when you disrespected me in any type of way. You feel me? Like if you didn't want this work of me talking about this, then you should have left me alone. Type shit. Now that you did leave me alone, nigga, I'm on you until it ain't no more you, and that's pretty much what happened between those two.
But I mean, I don't know. It's like 50 Cent he used a lot of tactics to get the public again. He just had a campaign against JaRule pretty much. He was like, nigga, you're not a gangster. He's like,
as well as the rest of the industry.
Yeah,
though.
you just a sing songy ass. You sound like make rhymes and singing songs like the Cookie Monster. Like
I'm not gonna play.
You say you sound like the Cookie Monster.
You know the most famous, like, or not the most famous, but like my favorite diss from 50 to Ja. Like he had an interview where he had really got mad because he was just talking about like the reason the beef started and everything. And then he had a point within the interview where he was like, this nigga singing love duets, but calling himself a murderer the whole time. But he was like really mad though. And that was like the funny. I remember that when I was a kid, I was like dying. This nigga really hates this nigga,
I remember
bro.
there was an interview where he was talking about it and he just stopped and he was like,
that's the same interview. It's the same interview. He was like, I really don't like that nigga.
I really don't like that nigga. Like he really like he couldn't believe it himself. He was like, damn, I really don't like that nigga. I'm like, what the fuck?
But all that being said, like I still feel like Ja wasn't. I just feel like it's a coincidence. JaRule came 97, 98.
But also
he had like a great 4 or 5 year run.
He did.
And 4 or 5 years is pretty much the standard of a prime in hip hop.
But I also want to say they beef go deeper than just that because JaRule and Irv Gotti, well, specifically Irv Gotti, he admitted to this. Blackballed him.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
And then they was also close with Supreme, who, like, according to 50 Cent, is like the dude that was like responsible for him getting shot.
Right.
So it's like
and you also answered your own question of like of why 50 had it out for him so much.
Yeah.
The reason 50 couldn't get on for so long was because of Irv Gotti and JaRule. Because when 50 was beefing with Ja was that nigga.
Yeah.
Like, you ever seen an interview when Ja was like, who is this nigga? I don't even know. He was able to say that at one point, and some people would agree with him.
And Ja was in a great position. Like, he was making songs with Jay-Z at DMX, and
he was on Def Jam, which is like in hip hop, like there's nowhere else you would want to be but Def Jam.
It's like,
and then Irv Gotti, because he had so much pull at the time because of who he was able to tell certain people, nah, don't work with 50. He had verses taken off from certain people that he was supposed to do. Like that's how 50 and Nas started beefing. Because I think it was what was that song J-Lo had? I think she did a song with Nas though, but it was supposed to be 50.
Oh, not not Nas. I don't know. I threw out a song that wasn't with Nas. So.
Oh yeah, it was some, J-Lo was trying to be more urban at the time. So yeah, so she had a song that that was supposed to be like 50's like breakout verse or whatever at the same label, and Irv basically like was threatening certain positions and stuff if people were to like give him that look or give him that alley-oop. So the only reason why 50, and I think that's why he respects these two people more than anybody else and has such a high reverence for him. If Eminem and Dr. Dre don't grab 50, we probably never know him as we do, because there were so many people scared of losing an Irv Gotti or JaRule connection any sort, to where like those two niggas had no impact on Dr. Dre or Eminem, so they were able to take on all that controversy or whatever comes with that and be perfectly fine. So once 50 got there, he was like, "Oh nigga, I want to annihilate you. I want your soul. I want you to be even more finished than when I wasn't on even close to your level." Like he made it. That's why he made such a point for that.
Because he just kept on going. Like it was like, damn, 50.
To this day, he still won't stop,
bro. Like you see.
But think about if that was you, would you feel the same way? You keep
like
somebody keep trying to block your blessings in every way, and every time you heat up a little bit or you think you got this, like, because I used to hear that, but I never believed it until like other people started like vouching for that story, that like, yeah, no, Irv was really telling certain people don't work with 50 or take his verse off of this or don't do this. And this is before the incident happened where niggas got stabbed and to where he even got that serious. Yeah. So I honestly couldn't understand why 50 held so much like, vile animosity towards them niggas like that. And, I would hope that we could see like at minimum like a Gucci, Jeezy type of reconciliation, but
that ain't happening.
There's no Biggie and Pac got a better chance of reconciling before them two.
At this point, that's beyond the grave. At this point,
that's never happening.
So during the verses, JD called out Diddy. Do y'all think that's fair or?
As a hit maker, as a hit, like we talking about hit maker, because like JD's catalog is ridiculous as far as a hit maker.
No, because Diddy kind of disrespected him. He told him
that was disrespectful.
He told him like only Dr. Dre could see me. JD, you ain't got enough hits. All of that.
JD got hits for himself. He got hits with Jay-Z. He got hits with Mariah Carey, Bow Wow, the Brad, like all type.
Is he or is he not one of the heads, or if not the head of So Def? Like so. Clearly,
one of the greatest,
to fuck with.
And I was saying,
outside
of Babyface and L.A. Reid, probably the greatest to ever do it out of Atlanta. You know what I mean? As far as like what he's brought. But that being said, I would rather see Diddy and Dre before Diddy and JD. Personally, especially because of the history behind those two. I feel like JD. I mean, there's other executives he can, go against. Like technically he can go. I don't know. He can go against Dame or something. I don't know, but I would want to see Diddy and Dre. I would want to see best of both coasts type of thing.
That'd be dope because like I know how Diddy feel about Dre, just on some like West Coast shit. You feel me?
I think JD needs to post that Andre quote. The South got something to say because it seemed like New York niggas is not taking Atlanta battles. 50 turned down Tip, and then Diddy turned down JD. It's like they basically trying to little nigga them. Like they not.
Yeah. Even though didn't T.I. turn down Busta Rhymes?
That was because he's scary though. That's different.
That's a bit different.
He was scared,
I
bro.
don't blame him because Busta Rhymes, like when Busta
He didn't
Rhymes,
he wasn't little nigga, but he was just like
he
he was scared, bro.
Yeah,
He said I was scared.
Busta Rhymes
But I have been seeing something going around. Speaking of Buzz, what y'all think of Busta versus Missy?
I feel like it'll be a great versus.
Yeah, that's
I
fire.
feel like it'll be good as far as hit
That's
for hit.
crazy.
That'd be wild. Because they had
both
hits at the
unorthodox.
same time with completely different styles from what was in the rap.
Because like I couldn't think of who else would go against Missy. Like I couldn't think.
And
of
that's the
nobody
thing.
else.
And it's like he's so out of the box, similar to her in some sense.
Right, yeah, they so similar in a lot of ways.
They would
as far as their
mesh
style.
well in a versus. I would
And the
actually
energy,
tune into
everything.
it. I would probably.
And that would
tune
be
into
the
both
first
of them.
like battle of the sexes verses that we have. So I think that would
But
be a
it's
perfect
like-
fit.
Yeah, you can't see nobody else going against Missy because
I'm gonna put y'all in the hot seat. Who wins?
Ooh, damn. Damn, I don't know.
I learned
Because
my
I don't know who
lesson.
Busta had on his team, but I know
I
Missy
learned
had
my
Timbaland,
lesson.
and Timbaland don't miss. So it's like
I learned my lesson.
it's kind of hard to
That's
where
fair.
it's like
She do got
Timbaland
Timbo.
don't
She
miss.
do got Timbo.
He don't miss.
I really can't choose. I can't choose.
I was just
And it's
listening.
hard because even hearing some of her shit coming back as of the last couple of years, as opposed to, the more recent stuff that Busta has had. Yeah, he's still him. He's amazing.
Right.
But she's still maintaining her role as far as being slightly
and her music
different.
don't age either.
It
That's
don't,
sure.
and that's another
Yeah,
thing.
her
Like,
music
it's
don't
still gonna
age.
be hype. It's still gonna fit for the time.
Like, it doesn't
Period.
age, bro.
But to your point on Timbaland, because they just released. Oh,
And that's Tim too. Like,
Aaliyah's anniversary just
Right,
passed.
she's-
Rest in peace, Aaliyah.
Rest
She's
in
finally
peace.
on all streaming sites.
Yes.
I'm so
we all hype.
proud of that. It's been a
hype.
long time coming.
been
But yeah,
hype.
speaking to that, I was in the car listening to One in a Million the other day, and I'm just listening to the beat. How this nigga, like, I can clearly tell that's that nigga voice as the effing beat, and I never really like dissected it like that. But it was just like this nigga was really like crazy effing talented, And I know him and Missy was producing most of her stuff at that time, but Timbo is just that nigga.
He's
just
somebody
different.
that I don't even want to talk about for real. Cause like,
Hell, JD should go against him.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's no, for real. Because if we want to go hit for hit, these are very proficient producers and people who have created stars or help influence or help create stars. And it's like y'all really changed the game for real.
But I forgot Timbo started it with Swizz, so they can't even do it.
And I was gonna ask that, like, who would y'all put up against Swizz?
Well, Swizz, he went against Timbaland, but
outside of that though, like, Tim would be good. But
there's
like,
a lot more producer battles we need to see.
Timbaland versus Swizz was cool.
I feel like even
That's
more
a good
modern
matchup.
one, like
who was like the producers from that? Just Blaze, maybe?
That's a whole different.
that's a different era. That's 2010s and shit. Like,
Because Just Blaze don't got as many hits as they do, but
what?
He don't.
In
he doesn't have
some
as many. Because he hasn't produced as much music
Hasn't-
for
You
different
hear
artists.
this guy? He might as well let me take these
Bro,
off again.
listen.
What you just say?
Okay, listen.
What the hell
Just
did you
Blaze
just say?
doesn't have as much hits as like a Timbaland or.
No, we
Swizz
was
Beatz.
talking about Swizz. Don't try to
I'm
change
lumping
it.
them in together.
She asked about Swizz Beatz.
Cause look, we're talking
You're
about
telling me
verses.
just
We
don't
could
have
we
hits
could-
for Swizz Beatz?
We could do nah. Nope.
Nigga, his Rockefeller spit alone from between Kanye and Jay alone.
What am I missing with Just Blaze? Because I know Rockefeller, but that's about it.
Bro, he didn't work with everybody.
Cause like when I think of Just Blaze, I think of all the great music that he made with Jay-Z, and I feel like that's the highlight. Not saying that he ain't made nothing greater than that, or did.
But even that alone, you don't think that's toe to toe with?
No,
with
I'm just saying as far as like the numbers go. Like I feel like Swizz just has more. But I mean,
who did Swizz really have outside of Rough Riders?
But all I'm saying is
that goes both ways.
What I'm saying is I enjoy Just Blaze like production better than I enjoy Swizz Beatz. But I feel like Swizz Beatz just has, because he's produced more, he has more hits. But Just Blaze has fewer hits. But I like his.
I still don't know what you're basing that on though. How what's these more hits that Swizz has? Again, outside of the Rough Riders, because that's
the Rough Riders.
That's like equal.
So that's all. Like you got the Rough Riders. You could say the Locks a little bit, but they're not still Rough Riders. You got Cassidy, but it's like you say the Rough Riders. You say the Rough,
it's all Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders, but it's like it's not like the Rough Riders is a big ass group. I don't know who all.
So is Rockefeller. What are you talking about?
But who all did Just Blaze? Like what good songs did Just Blaze produce for the Rockefeller artists?
That one flip side, I'm good. I did a little bit of.
Okay, yeah. See, that's what I like. I'm glad you mentioned because I forgot about that shit.
The other one he had, the freeway and it ain't the BC, and I got what it takes to run.
Did he do Pump
Yeah,
It
that
Up?
was no. That's and he did Pump It Up.
Okay, so
he did Pump It Up.
I'm tripping, man.
So he got Rock the Mic. He got come on, bro.
Like, yeah, I'm tripping. That's my bad. I'm tripping.
This nigga, you just be.
Cause I'm like, no. As soon as I hear Just Blaze, I just think about Jay, like them illustrious as cinematic beats, and that's what I think about. I wasn't thinking about the little like those shit that he got with the bounce in it, cause them some dope ass songs.
Nah, bro, Blaze. Like I've always had a high reverence for Blaze. We not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mad I even got to defend him like that, cause I was watching a Clubhouse thing with him the other day. He was kind of hating on the West Coast.
Who?
Hating on Pockets Fit. Just Blaze.
The fuck?
He said the first Tupac song that he ever heard and was like, oh, he can actually kind of rap was Hit 'Em Up.
Oh yeah, Swizz Beatz kill Just Blaze. What the fuck? Landslide.
But I'm still fair though, bro. Yeah. I'm still fair. Like Blaze could for sure go toe to toe with Swizz. Like easy work. This nigga crazy. Let me look some spit up. They disrespectful. Ain't none of these hits. Oh, these is probably like songs that's supposed to be his. That's why. Hell, even you don't remember in the documentary? No more fun and games. Gangsta.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know he got like. I know I was drawing a blank on this shit. I knew he had more shit, but it's just.
Girls.
Yeah, I just know. I just know him for the classic ones with Jay-Z.
I knew I wasn't tripping. I was finna say What We Do too. So we got What We Do. Flip side, like I said, Can't Let You Go. I didn't even know that was Just Blaze.
Yeah, I didn't know that was him either.
Pump It Up. You ain't even got to count around here, but that was my spit. He got Breathe.
Woo,
Touch the Sky.
We gotta stay on Breathe. Yo, that
Come
was
on,
my
bro. Let's
shit,
talk about it. Let's talk about it. You
shit.
want some Grammy nominated or Grammy winning spit?
Yeah,
Live your life.
I'm gonna listen to that shit when I get up out of here.
No
you got
Love.
Exhibit C, okay.
And he's still making hits. In 2021, nigga made the new. I guess this is supposed to be they.
Yeah.
I Believe I Could Fly.
Yeah.
We win. He made the new Space Jam theme song.
Okay.
Now let's see what Swizz talking about. Rough Riders Anthem.
All right,
Band for TV.
Look, them two good ones.
Money Cash Hoes.
Good ones.
Jigga.
That's a good one.
I didn't even know that was Swizz.
Party Up.
That don't count, nigga.
Party Up
we
don't
know
count?
that's Rough Riders.
Party Up don't count?
That's, I mean, it count, but you know what I mean. Like we trying to find the stuff where it's like, oh, okay, you did that. But that I'll tell you what's most impressive about this. Swizz did that at 17 years old.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
Get it.
Do you know this song? Do you remember this? I got a large house and dog house in my backyard.
Yeah.
And even my dog, that's how he got on right there. I didn't know Good Times with Swizz. Damn. Get It on the Flow, Hotel. All Cassidy spit basically.
Bring him out.
Bring him
okay,
out.
I didn't know. Oh, yeah, I didn't know he did that.
Hey, bro, I got Just Blaze. Okay, touch it. Okay, we getting somewhere. Touch it.
Touch it.
Upgrade you.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, upgrade you. It's me.
Give me body. That's
Give me body. Tambourine. That's Cash. Drinking two-step. And I think that's when it started to go, you know, a little downhill, sir. On to the next one.
That's a good one. Fancy.
Yeah, I got Just, my guy.
Yeah,
I got Just.
but it's not like it's not obviously not a wash, but
Oh, he did something on Kendrick's fit.
Sorry though, I was gone.
Oh no, you good.
I'll let y'all finish up because
We did a little battle. We just did a little mini verses right now.
Okay,
while
talk
you was
to
gone.
me. What's up?
It was Just Blaze versus Swizz Beatz because he was disrespectful before you.
I mean,
left.
Swizz won, right? Swizz won,
I
right?
can't even lie to you about that.
Did Swizz win?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay, that's fair. I mean.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up. Our AGM conclusion dialogue, probably one of the most controversial that we've done yet. How do y'all feel about non-blacks saying nigga? And this is off the back of the backlash that Fat Joe got because obviously we're in a different time now and he says nigga so emphatically and comfortably. So how do y'all feel, particularly, you know, with the Latinos mainly, because it seems like they say it more than black people these days.
And the Asians.
So how do y'all feel about non-black saying nigga?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dorian.
I'm not mad at, like, the Puerto Ricans because I view them as like black.
Sure.
African ancestry.
Yeah, sure.
Which Fat Joe is. So do you have a problem with him saying that?
I have no problem.
Okay.
I have no problem with him saying it personally either. I mean, it's been so long.
In fact, I feel
like it's too long to even be trying to nip it in the bud when he's been part of the community. He's been invited to the cookout for
30 years.
over a decade, over 2 decades to score some more shit. Like this nigga been in the loop, so it's like we need to worry about other shit as opposed to this nigga saying nigga because he earned it in some aspects.
So you think that's possible?
I feel like
for somebody to earn an N-word
they
card.
flowers, sure. I mean, to me, sure. But granted, I'm also referring to Fat Joe, who is 30 years prior was in the game, and it was heavy to where it was okay. These are different circumstances. Now, if he came out the gate today,
it was okay. I think because he is Puerto Rican, that's why people let him slide.
Like
and that's
if Eminem was on tracks trying to say nigga, that wouldn't have went too well.
Eminem is great, but Eminem proved that he was great without saying nigga, and I feel like that's what makes him even greater because he never, despite being accepted by the black community, he never felt the need to go out of his way to say nigga in this.
No, I feel like he couldn't if he wanted to.
But even
to be honest, that's probably why he didn't.
I feel like he might have had some wiggle room.
I feel like the Puerto Ricans get the wiggle room. That's why Snitch 9 does it so much because it's like, even though like. I don't know. We can go to a whole nother debate about Puerto Ricans of who's black and who's not or whatever. Because some of them, even if they do have it down the line somewhere, they don't identify as black like at all. They like are all Latino pride, and they still say the spit like it's no tomorrow. So that could be argued in itself. But I feel like because they feel like we're minorities, we can say it too. But here's the thing, though. A lot of them get, like, I remember when LeBron James was doing this Taco Tuesday thing. He was like, gay. And they was like, no, it was, all right, bro. It wasn't never that funny.
Okay.
but
the way you tried to slide through it, like, okay.
They was upset about him doing that. But y'all won't stop saying nigga when certain black people have an issue with you saying nigga.
Okay.
And I've been seeing that since I was in elementary, to be honest.
And I like, in super side note, giving somebody props for something that they should naturally be doing. And I know it's not right. However, I'm going to do it. I like Jack Harlow. I fucks with him a lot. I like his lyricism. I like his flow, his cadence. I've yet to hear him say nigga.
He can't.
And I understand that. But let's go back to free will here. white people still say that they can when they want to, if they feel the need to.
But do they do it?
But whether or not they do it, when they do it, they try to justify it. So I'm saying that this man having the outlet, having technically the black enough card, you know, he has the street cred to be able to have it pass in some circles, even if not ours. In some circles, he can have it pass because of how he carries himself and how he raps and his cadence. To me,
that's what I tell.
But that's to people,
non-blacks all the time. Anyway,
right.
Though, how I feel about it. My answer to them is, if they could say nigga, I tell them the same thing. If you could say it around a group of black people without getting punched in the mouth, then be my guest.
Right.
You can say whatever the hell you want to say. Obviously, I don't ever want to hear ER. But
right.
if you can say nigga around the right black people and nothing happens to you, then more power to you.
I have never, I mean, I can't say never, but it is very rare, and I for sure can't even recall enough times to count on my fingers to where I've heard a black person say nigga in my face to where I felt uncomfortable or felt the need to correct that. And granted, I'm a little more lenient with different things. However, it's never come up in front of me. And I find that really unfortunate for my experience in my lifetime is that I haven't dealt with racism per se. I mean, if anything, I've dealt with microaggressions that I've probably written off as just like a bad day for a person because I'm that person. Right. So it's like, ultimately, I've never truly been targeted or affected by race.
You don't get into enough social media wars. That's why.
That too, but also when it comes to being out and about, it's like maybe it has to do with pretty privilege or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm all that, and I'm the baddest bitch around. Don't get me wrong, but I know I'm decent. I'm good looking, and I know that in some circles that I think sometimes it's overlooked that I'm black, to where I don't get punished. I have the anxiety of a black person, but I don't get the reprimanding of a black person all the time. I've been let off for tickets. I've been given warnings and stuff when typically I'd be scared that I'm about to be ripped out of my car and potentially taken to jail or killed. Right. So it's like different things like that, whereas granted, I tried to keep myself out of certain situations. I've been pulled over like maybe twice or three times. One of those times I was sober. Two other of those times I was able to finesse my way through it to where it made sense and I wasn't that drunk. So when it comes down to it, it's still scary. I still think about the fact that regardless of how I look, I'm a black person with dark skin. So I could be killed at any moment when it comes to one of these traffic stops. I try not to be pulled over. But I think that makes a difference when it comes to certain things. To me, in my world, granted, I'm into biracial people. So it's like I have to have that wiggle room at some extent when it comes to saying nigga if I'm dealing with somebody that's half white and half black.
So here's a personalization.
Go ahead.
Is there a difference between, or I'll just ask you this, is any non-black saying nigga in front of you, do you address it? Does it matter? Does like context matter? Does it matter how much blackness they have in them? Like, how do you approach that personally for yourself when you hear that? Or do you just ignore it and just go about your day?
I feel like personally, 9 times out of 10, I'm about context. And typically context, one thing about I lived in Humboldt for 3 years. I had not even 5 times where people accidentally slipped up and said nigga in front of me. So it's like, I have very little experience with that. But the experience
So you never been around like a bunch of Hispanics that said nigga constantly?
I mean, yeah, but for me, it's like, I guess for a while I had that wiggle room for them where it's like, colored, we're colored. So minority. It's cool. Okay. Right, minority. So it's like, but ultimately, no, I have better things to worry about. So no, if somebody of Mexican descent says nigga around me, it'll be a little different if somebody of white descent, and it depends on the type of white. It depends on their upbringing.
The type of white.
It does.
What's the different whites?
That sounds crazy to you. I get it. But like for me, I've dealt with various white people because there's always the demographic of Karens and people who are worried about all the wrong shit or too hypervigilant about shit that other people aren't worried about or are worried about or vice versa, whatever. But like I've dealt with like stoner hippie white, and that's different, and it's nicer, and it's better, and it's like,
and it's high.
And it's high. I mean, but outside of that, it's open minded. It's cool. It's chill. That's what it is. It's like if you want to take the most negative or talked about stereotype of weed, and put it in white people and humble, which is the calmness, the chillness, the zenness, the stoner aspect. Mm-hmm. That's one of the highlights. Like, I've had people and I've met people and I have friends who have dealt with racist people in humble. I lived out there for 3 years and had little to no racist experience, at least none that I picked up on. And it's very likely that I've had microaggressions done toward me, but I'm so mean that I didn't pick up on it because I didn't think that it was racist. I just chalked it up to human, whatever. I don't know. I don't think I'd personally be targeted when I've had friends who have been potentially run over for racist. Right. So it's like, it's a difference for sure. I haven't been as exposed to it, but I'm not as
So did you ever go to school in LA at any point?
I went to Christian school though. Like, it was mostly black, but it was still a Christian school through kindergarten through black. 6th grade. Okay. It was mostly black. In Gardena, like, I was going to school in Normandy and couldn't even tell you the other street, but it was on Normandy and it was in LA for sure. And it's like mostly black people, but
see, every school I went to, it was only like a handful of black people and the rest Hispanic. So totally different experience.
And see, it wasn't like, Hispanics were the main people. Like, no, black people were the main people. And I went to that school up until like 3rd grade or most of 3rd grade, and I mainly dealt with black people being problematic or otherwise. Excuse me, but like just black people in general. And so white people was my experience 4th through 8th grade being in Christian school out here, where it's like, it's a different type of, it's different. It's definitely different. And it's not the same. They have different programs. They have different outlets, sure. Right. But they also have different groups of people. And granted, it's not like I was just the average black kid that fit in with everybody, but I didn't stick out either. So it's like, being in a white school, a white Christian school, it's like, yeah, I don't quite stick out, but I don't blend in either. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not one of the black kids that's here because they couldn't do public school. I'm one of the black kids that's never done public school. Right. And I'm hella sheltered and I'm chilling, but I'm just not doing my work. And I'm not, like, I'm just smart and don't want to do remedial ass shit, which isn't that, but it just seemed like that. Like, I don't know. I just didn't want to copy Bible verses and memorize the shit. Like, I don't know. It was different. And then I went to OFL, and I've never been to public school. Just like that. Okay. Never been to public school. Avenue. The only public school I've been to was OFL, which was public charter school, which is homeschool. So it's like, that's my experience with, public school, which is a lot different.
So, same question. If a white or Hispanic, non-black says nigga in front of you, what's your response?
White people can't say nigga in front of me at all whatsoever. Hispanic, because that's
very
like
selective there, sir. White people
at all. Hispanics, they have.
So you're saying something to the white person?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm addressing it. I'm calling them out straight up. Okay. Hispanics, it kind of depends. It depends on the context of it, because like, if you grew up around a bunch of niggas and you say nigga, like, I get it.
What if they didn't? What if they grew up around a bunch of Hispanics and they just
I get that too.
Not just as much as us, but more than us.
Because they've adopted that word in their culture like a mug, and it's like when I was in jail, they would say nigga, and I'm not about to fight them over that.
Right. So you got a bunch of others for you have to fight about anyway. Might as well.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. Just like, just don't, like, as long as you're using it,
as a term of endearment.
Yeah, just as long as you're using it like in a colloquial way, you're not trying to disrespect me with it, then we're good on that tip.
But how do you decipher that? Because
anybody
you about to get into it is, that's probably gonna be a part of the verse.
Well,
what's up, nigga? So if a Hispanic come at you like, what's up, nigga? It's like, it's hard to decipher. Okay, so is you calling me a nigga, or is you, are you gonna be thinking about that?
I'm gonna call them out on it. I'm like, what you talking about? Like, who you calling a nigga? And if like,
but that could just be how they talk still in that.
You gonna have
context,
to answer for it. I'm like, is that a nigga like at me? Like, I'm a. Like,
you're gonna take it more so than if it was a black person.
I'm gonna call him out on it just to see how he responds to it, and if he don't like, oh, not like that. He keep on.
He's not gonna say that if y'all already in that space. He's gonna say, man, what's up?
And if we out there, then we already about to fight. So it's like, fuck it, say what you want. Shit, say what you want. We gonna fight now.
So it sounds like you give Hispanics a pass.
Yeah.
as long as it ain't with the hard R or ER or whatever, you give everybody a pass as long as it ain't used as disrespect to you.
Within reason. I mean, I'm circumstantial as I am with most everything I'm doing.
And I'm saying that.
Like,
I'm saying that.
White people are a little different. Like, if you just trying to sing along to a song, you don't have to. Like, it's okay.
One of my
hold up. I got a story for y'all.
Okay.
I got a story for y'all. The funniest vision, and I wish I had it on camera. I was working at American Idol. And I remember Bodak Yellow was cracking at Bodak Yellow was like Bodak Yellow at this time. Nothing but white people all in the crowd, in the audience. Nothing but white people. A bunch of teenage white boys and white girls, right? And the part came up where she was like, and I'm quick to cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. So I was like looking like, I want to see how they gonna respond to this. Yeah, I know y'all do. So I just wanted to see, and it's like, is nobody really here to hold y'all accountable if y'all repeat that part, even if it's muted on the song, you gonna continue singing along. So I was looking, and I promise you, when that part came, it was like, and I'm quick to cut up. So don't get man. When I tell you, I was on the floor, like it was like, because they were so respectful, I felt bad in a way, because it's like, but at the same time, I was like, I know y'all say that shit when y'all in y'all bedroom or in y'all cars together or whatever, but y'all gonna stop on that part because you in a public atmosphere. But yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick because that's what was hilarious.
No, and that's real. Like I said, I don't be in a lot of situations to where people have the chance for me to be in that situation to where I can nip it in the bud and be like, you may not need to say that. Like, I don't even be around people like that.
See, I had a weird up and down dynamic. I remember, like, I mean, and I say it now, obviously, but, you know, as a kid, you know, when my mom was trying to install certain values into me, that was one of the rules. Don't say the N-word. Don't say nigga. And I followed that. Not only did I follow that, but because she had me such into Black history and stuff like that at the time, and, you know, my ancestors and stuff we went through and where the word comes from and everything, and this is before I was really into the culture fully, y'all ain't gonna believe me, but I had a point in time where I was fighting Black people that said it to me. Just because, like, I was just so defensive of the word, let alone somebody that's not Black saying it. I had so many fights in elementary over that word. It's not even funny. It was part of the reason why I kind of like got immune to it and just kind of had to like let it go in a sense. So I started off with letting Black people get away with it. It had to start there. And then obviously as I'm learning hip hop and our comedic culture and stuff like that, I'm learning like, okay, this is like something that's normalized for whatever reason. Okay, so whatever. And then growing up with all the Hispanics that I did, it was like, you know, at first I was still fighting them, and then it got like I was fighting so much. It's like, bro, like clearly this is something that's like they've normalized to say this with so damn much. So it's like I got to a point where I was like, well, as long as you ain't disrespecting me, it is what it is. And then I was like him for a minute, where it's like, well, white people, I don't care what context, under no circumstances, you can't ever say it around me. Yeah. And now it's like it's at a point to where it's like, if you're not Black, I cringe at you saying it, period. But it's not, like, I'm with you on this. It's not worth me. It's about us. It's not worth it to me at this point. You feel me? It's like,
because I can't
like I said, as long as you ain't disrespecting
what you do on your own time is your personal business.
Right.
What I can control and what you trigger me by is what I can speak on. However, you know, I would hope situational awareness, and by situational awareness,
that's why I said,
will show
if you can say it without getting punched in the mouth.
But in your car by yourself is the move. I can't knock you for being human, because see, you just you try to jam to a song.
What
period.
if a white person says nigger, but they don't think anybody else is around? They just like talking to themselves and like. Too bad.
I mean,
you shouldn't be you shouldn't be saying even in private.
Just showing your bias.
And it's like then when they see them, oh my God,
I get mad. No, I'm gonna tell you what be pissing me off. Like when these news reporters be trying to be funny, when they like repeating a Tupac lyric or something, And when the nigga part, oh yeah, he has a song called "I'd Rather Be Your Nigger." That ain't what the damn song say. It's like you just wanted an excuse to be able to say it and be like, oh, well, that's what he said. That's not what he said. Y'all know damn well there's a difference between nigga and nigger. But anytime, like, and y'all probably see it, anytime you see them talk about some type of hip hop song or anything, any type of fashion or a black person saying nigga, they gon' add to it and say it with the ER just because it's like, oh, this is my moment to shine.
Right.
That's what I don't agree with. And that's that shit that's like, well, you're a piece of shit for trying to, either exploit a term that is triggering, right, or just being blissfully ignorant and something that has been squashed in the form of ignorance. Like, we know why this is wrong. There's no reason for you to be ignorant towards it. So just do your best, or just don't do it at all as, a considerate human being. Just don't interact in something that you don't even know how to navigate around. If you don't know how to navigate around an ER and an A, then you ain't meant to be saying it in general, period. Because clearly you don't understand grammar rules. You don't understand how things work in diction and linguistics, and that's cool.
But that's the thing. I think it's intentional, though.
And that's
think they do that intentionally. Even when they would announce NWA back in the day, look at the old reporters, they'd be like, yeah, niggers with attitude. Like, that's not their name, and you know it. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what it's done intentionally, and it's cringeworthy.
It's almost as if they have blinders where it's like, yeah, it never has an A at the end. It's always ERS, or it's always ER. It's always a thug. It's never a black boy. It's always looked at as thug and retranslated as thug, and vice versa. I don't know. It's just, it very much shows the history of America and who has the upper hand in conditioning.
What kind of MacBook is this?
I think the Pro.
What year is it? 'Cause I'm about to cop one.
Nigga, I don't know. I got this in 2017. I wanted to show y'all this video to end this topic out. I hope I find it. I just want to show y'all this to close it out because this bit was hilarious to me, but I think it was perfectly put of how white people be feeling when it comes to the word.
Mm-hmm. Is racism just a one-way street?
I think that's his opinion.
Look at your firm, Adrian. You get the benefit of no bid contracts because you're an African-American firm. Now, as a white lawyer, what am I supposed to think of that?
I don't know.
I think Chuck is pointing out a double standard here, Adrian. I mean, take hip-hop. We've talked about this on the show before. You have African-American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it. I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Okay, this is hypocritical. You know we can't.
Sure you can. This is America. Both of you. Say it.
All right, I think we can move on.
What? Why move on when you want to say it? Both of you want to say it. Huh?
Man, that's
together, everybody. Like, yeah, period. Let's just all say it.
That's what came to mind for me. That's how they all really feel. Like, why can't we say it? But it's like they try to victimize themselves. Right.
Even though we already say it on our own time. Like, why can't we say it in front of you? But we say it on our own. But you guys make it clear we can't say it at all. But we really say it on our own in secret. Like, right. It's just a matter of what we're allowed to do.
And they probably say it more times than it's on the song. Right. Or in that part, they like say a whole
If I was white, I would scream that shit.
Nah, I feel him on it.
I'm doing extra ad-libs for sure.
Like, while I'm playing it in the car, I yell that shit. I'm running back like,
nigga.
God damn,
y'all niggas can't answer my nigga. All right, yeah, we'll close it out there, being ignorant. But yeah, episode 12 in the books, man. Love y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to support. Instagram is the AGM Podcast. Facebook handle AGM Podcast. Email allgrindmedia21@gmail.com. As always, I'm gonna have all of our Instagrams at the bottom or top. whatever works for me at the time. But y'all can hit any of us up. Let us know what y'all think of the show. Let us know if there's anything y'all want us to talk about.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate all the feedback. I was just talking to Dorian about some backlash he got, so keep it coming. You know what I'm saying? If any of us is talking like bozos, let us know. We welcome all of it.
I'm gonna double down on my.
And I don't often have the usual perspective, so if you got something to say against it, talk to me.
I'm gonna double down, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
won't change, but
Lil'
I'm
Kim
just
don't
saying,
got a
like,
verse
we can
better
talk
than
about
that monster
it.
verse.
We can talk about it. I mean,
All right, bro. You on your own.
right? He got his own battle.
All right, Barb. All right, man.
Technically, I'm a Ken, right?
See y'all later, man. Peace out.
Peace out.
Thank y'all for tuning in
Have a
again,
good
man.
one.
Love y'all.